They were originally in 10 years. It will be the 5 great evils that will destroy the continent, but now he has become the object of men's education, but now he hasn't realized the seriousness of the matter. 2.5 years ago, the man accidentally crossed into this fantasy continent at that time. He didn't know the details of this place at all. Because of this, he just wants to live by the identity of the Earl. Can you know that one day man from the mouth of the maid accidentally learned the identities of his 2 older brothers Leo Faraday and Tonio Faraday? Just heard this familiar surname, a strong sense of unease came to my mind in an instant. Could this be Cesideria? Cesideria was originally a turn-based role-playing game, but no matter which storyline the player chooses to start, once the 5 great sins officially come, all nobles and cities will be destroyed, and this Count Faraday's house. Before the game starts, it's just the stubborn aristocrats who come in groups and pull across, but men are so familiar with them all because this family is the protagonist group, the first trash family to be taken down. He still remembers that this family can contribute a lot of experience points, but I never expected I'm Faratib Ellen, the youngest son of the Jew family, so he called it 2 pit on the spot. This moment he's begging Muse to send him back. World moving bricks after all. There are only 10 years left to live in this rich and noble life. Didn't you say that all travelers bring their own golden fingers? How come it's gone to me? Just thinking about this, Alan suddenly stood up. In fact, the benefits have always been there, but in the end, he knows where the game will go in 10 years. This is equivalent to seize the key intelligence of the future in advance. In order to keep the dog safe until the end, he was secretly working out a plan in his mind. The core is to educate the 5 great evils after all. These guys are still mostly children. I haven't awakened myself yet. Fast forward 2.5 months. Alan's assistant is reporting on the progress of this period. He has taken the orphan from the living laboratory to the east. All were rescued, also handed over management to Judea. Alan nodded in satisfaction. It means you are dressed beautifully. Elvin was stunned when he heard this. Young master is complimenting me, right? After all, young master, there is no emotion on your face at all. Then Alan forced a smile. I'll bother you later. In fact, he is really helpless just because of the expression that should have been made easily, but this face doesn't do what it's supposed to do. This is the first time Evan has been trusted so much. He scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. Anyway, thank you for your approval. You know, Elvin, in this Sicilia where betrayal becomes every day, it's a rare role to hold fast to the faith, so as soon as I found him they hired him. Then Elvin's style suddenly took a turn. Let's do it. This time it was the girl named Judea who was saved, right? Alan immediately affirmed it was exactly what he thought. Judging by his years of experience as a mercenary, that girl is definitely not an ordinary child. His powerful breath left Elvin scratching his head. Why is he being cooped up in the lab? But he had a bigger question. Why doesn't the young master bring people back to cultivate? If you just put people outside, his own young master can't get any benefits. However, it is normal for Elvin to have such doubts. Although on the surface I didn't use any of his strength, put him in another, this was all part of the plan. Yusha Flodya, this person, it is a strange blood child, who has concluded a contract with another world. It is the word anger in the 5 great sins. It's a monster that caused hundreds of thousands of casualties, but as long as he can be with growth in peace does not necessarily lead to destruction. Alan couldn't help but call himself too immortal in order not to let Elvin think about it, so I have to make up a reason to fool myself. The reason is actually very simple, it's just not yet. Here this Elvin couldn't help but frown. He felt that his young master was no longer a master. Then he told Elvin not to divulge the matter. He also provided him with sufficient financial assistance. By the way, finally let him pass this pacifying letter to Yusha. After being brutally treated like a live experiment, still have to appease him, although I'm not sure about this letter. Can you really reassure him? But you have to try. So Alan also added a personal partner to the letter. This phrase has been mentioned dozens of times in the game. This is a spell to appease the blood clan, has a calming effect. The worries of darkness, the flow of light is the only destination, and yearning. This is a plot from the crime of wrath. It didn't work when you chanted it. Although that is the battle plot after the game fails, but now it's 10 years before the game starts. It's not too late, already got one of them. It's time to save the next one with just one sentence. You can get closer to the monster. As outrageous as it sounds, who made them a race of believers, it might actually work. After all, the brain circuitry of these fanatics, normal people can't figure it out at all. At the same time, Judea on the other side. Reading through Alan's letter to him, Ellen found the girl increasingly strange. It looks like an emotionless tomb. Just then, and Judea spoke. You said the Lord who wrote the letter, is it the one named Alan? Why didn't you ask me to go to him? The aura emanating from Yusha's body. Elvin broke out in a cold sweat. You know, the magic wants to manifest. At least reach the zone teacher realm. He is a girl under 10 years old. How do you do it? Elvin quickly remembered Alan's words. The young master said not yet. Yusha calmed down after hearing this, then he hugged the letter tightly to his chest, a happy smile on the face. Just because of the words in the letter, it is a unique agreement between him and his master. He understood why his master didn't take him by his side. It must not be the time yet. But now Yusha has awakened. Ability has become the crime of anger. Soon after he was looking for information on the 3rd Brigade, Alan suddenly came to report the second child successfully rescued. Alan pressed whether he had been treated gently. Just then bang. The door of the study was kicked open. The intruder was the second son of the Count. Tonio. He looked down at Alan. Isn't that the trash boy? I heard you've been addicted to studying recently. Do you deserve to read books? Why don't you respond when your brother asks you? This made Alan feel the forbearance of the original owner and he was furious, but he had to contain it. And Alan bowed respectfully. Signaled the other party to dispose of it at will, but just when Tonio smugly thought he was in control global time, an adversary suddenly passed before his eyes. The blade was deeply nailed to the wall. What are a bunch of ants doing here? Get out of my way, I don't want blood in the morning. It was Faraday. The Count's eldest son Alan quietly evacuated while the two brothers were fighting. Know that the Faraday family is in the game, although it has a lot of power, but in the end, he became the first cannon fodder to be killed, and these two quarreling brothers in front of you, one is the #1 romantic tycoon in the underground world, the other is a big drug school that controls black market drugs. In order to survive in the present moment, Alan decided continue to maintain the waste manpower. After returning to the room, Elvin mentioned that a second child is also highly unusual, but what always puzzled him was this young master who cannot protect himself. How did you know about the distant living experimental base? Then he continued to question Alan this time. The found children are placed in Orphans Children's Hospital? But what Alan doesn't know is his mouth is unusual. It is actually a terrifying existence with a world-destroying future in the United Kingdom, the most central Kellyanne Kingdom. The second boss bought in the slave black market. It's DeVos McCain. He was sold as a slave, abused, tossing, and turning finally completely blackened. Laziness is one of the 5 great sins. He used extreme cruelty, blood washed several kingdoms. Many players just heard his name. I was shaking with fear. But here's what's interesting. Although he is labeled lazy, but the guy who will always repay his grudges. Because of this, I repeatedly told Elvin to treat him well. Then Alan pretended to be calm, let him play by the old rules. The time has not come. This letter to the child. The surface is a warm word of daily greetings, but Alan quietly added something from his heart. In the orphanage, the boy covered in scars stands out. Just when he was alone in a daze, a voice rang in my ears. You have been corrupted. The marks on his body are all his masterpieces. Right. But you are lucky enough. The great moon has chosen you to be an apostle. Feel the power with me. He woke up completely. Offer all your loyalty. Follow in the footsteps of your lord, so you can make your enemies pay dearly. Go to those people now. Send a special greeting. Alan on the other side, while still wondering where the third boss is hiding, Alan ran in a panic to report something big. Good. Second Master Tonio is dead, and at Tonio's funeral the Count hugged the two beauties and complained non-stop, muttering, this boring funeral, when will it end? Alan was dumbfounded. Someone is having fun at their own son's funeral. The setting of this dark fantasy game, it's really outrageous, but he was even more surprised Tonio died by accident so early. But this is the same as the original death method in the game. It doesn't match the number at all in the game. He clearly fought with Leo for a long time, only died in the infighting. Look at Leo now. It's like winning the jackpot. The corner of the mouth is about to crack to the root of the ear. The murderer of the fetal heart that can't be hidden is either Leo or his supporters, but Alan didn't care about that. Just because his current goal is only 5 evils. The time soon came. A year later, after the heir resolves the problem, Leo successfully gobbled up the drug business. The Count's house has become much calmer as a result, and in these days Alan and Yudiakin slowly became friends. He is well aware of the goodwill he has saved now. It will definitely come in handy in the future. By correspondence, Alan learns that children are well behaved. Yuena is interested in playing hide and seek. Sidon is good at war games. Deus often performed puppetry. Several children are growing up in the direction of perfection. Sponsorship list that can be added, but it made Alan frown. Such a small orphanage, why is the sponsorship amount still going up? Just then, Alan brings good news. The intelligence union has a lead here. This Alan was instantly overjoyed. Find that guy. Night fitness. It was certainly a beautiful and peaceful night now in the land of medicine. Marco, a bald man, lamented. Master Faraday is really proud every time. The reward is very generous. With these funds their organization expanded rapidly, but when the two returned to the base scared silly on the spot, all that came into view were corpses. And here's what's even weirder. The dead do-it-themselves stabbed himself with an adversary's hand. He kept shouting for help. But no matter how they struggle, can't escape the final outcome of death. Just then a black-robed figure out of the dark alley. Today's puppet show. It was a fantastic performance. It seems that the sponsorship directory reported next time going to increase again. It's just that DeVos doesn't understand what's the point of doing this. Get rid of this irrelevant trash. How can it help with revenge? So Judea patiently explained everything you do now. It's all for the return of that Lord. The foundation laid in advance. When the adults arrive, you can't entertain in this shitty place. Everything we do all obey the will of the Lord. And we at Blue Moon, it's that adult's sharpest bitch. After the two leave, the moon-shaped totem is left on the ground. Ever since Alan and Yusha became friends, I don't know, it's been 2 years at the moment. Alan is anxiously looking for traces of Alan after going around in circles. I finally found him behind the house. At this point, Evan was already exhausted. He just put his 5th child in the orphanage. There have been 3 incarnations of sin in that time. Although it took a lot of effort to find the 3rd sin of greed, but relying on the order of the cheese family in the game, Evan managed to get everything done in the end. Looking at Evan, who has been running around all year, Alan directly motioned that he could take a break for a while, and this confused him. Confirmed again. Question, is our mission finally over? Get me sure. The moment of reply, he collapsed to the ground with a plop. Then he exhaled the turbid air in his chest. But why don't you look very happy, young master? So Alan lifts his chin. Let him take a closer look. Can't you see I'm smiling already? Alan was confused on the spot, but it's really unbearable. Okay, I'll take it as if you're laughing. About this, Alan's deep slouching struggled to organize his thoughts. I didn't expect things to go so well. The formation of the 5 evils depends on the blessing of opportunity. Even if you do your best to launch a rescue, it is also difficult to make a move in time before they are in trouble. In other words, my biggest worry, it is to rescue the evil incarnation of the broken body and mind, but now it seems that this worry is unnecessary. The 5 children who were rescued are all growing up healthy. Then Alan asked what was going on at the orphanage. The last time you went to the orphanage to inspect, did you notice anything wrong? Evan immediately took out the letter written by Yusha. Like when the snow wolf was just rescued, the whole person is no different from a bad doll, but adapted particularly well in the orphanage, and the same is true of Lena's child. When I saved her, my eyes were closed, and I didn't want to open them. He also said that he never wanted to see the world again as a result. The last time I visited the input fan, he was promoting the personality is much more cheerful than before. Alan said, I didn't expect Judea to do this. Is it because he loves the setting of the orphanage so much? So it's weird to think that the child is under pressure. Elvin looked puzzled. Ask him why he said that. Did he have something special written in his mind? Then he turned around and found no clue instead. I am proud of the growth of my children, but I didn't expect them to grow up so well. Sure enough, the growth environment is the key at this moment. Elvin suddenly asked again, Master, when do you plan to see them? You just say wait until the time is right. Every time this sentence gives Alan a moment. I don't know how to explain it, because I don't want to see them from the bottom of my heart, although there are many benefits to having a good relationship with them, but their experience of becoming sinful is too tearful from the memory of the game. These guys' personality has been distorted since childhood. Maybe I'll get better after I intervene, but I still feel a little afraid to touch it in my heart. So Alan found a perfunctory reason to perfunctory him. It will take about 5 years. Hard to say. Anyway, take care of yourself first in this dark world. Having enough self-protection is the last word. Fortunately, I still have some magical talent. While Alan was lost in thought, Alan suddenly brought up the name Blue Moon, said to be a recently emerging organization in the East. Rumor has it that he specializes in hunting down other gang forces. Zhang Mingho himself heard it for the first time, but it sounds like something serious. There is no setting in the game, and it is estimated that the jump will not be long. Then Evan suddenly made a gesture to wipe his neck. The point is that they even overtook the nobles. Evan thought the young master already knew about it, but after hearing this, Alan's legs went soft and he knelt directly. Then let Elvin sleep in the next room. From tonight, the scene turned to the orphanage. Yusha is listening to Blue Moon's weekly report. Bloodthirsty in the blood of the sin of arrogance, I ripped the heads off those human traffickers, so I got them to get the color of my eyes right. Let them live as a result. None of these idiots could answer, and the sin of greed is even worse. Just melt their bodies. The work on the south side is also completely over. Divas took down the illegal living entity. The sin of laboratory abundance. Bin Laden is not idle either. Clean up the mess that Avalon did. You grind them all to pieces. After listening to the work reports of the subordinates, there was a satisfied look on Yusha's face. We exist for the great moon, you know. The Blue Moon was created by Tia. It is a mysterious organization that worships the moon. Just then Deus opened his mouth again to report, we seem to have a tricky problem. The leader of Avalon is not that lord, the eldest son of the earl who lives in the land? Deus deals with facts. Discovery. Order. The eldest son seems to have his eye on the adult. What did you just say? Yusha looked shocked. The air around seemed to freeze in an instant. Snow Wolf was smiling brightly. Just now it will immediately be sparse and vigilant. Looking around, Rena, who has been secretly observing, is also moving suddenly. His eyes stared in a certain direction. Judea reads the secret order to the end. Sure enough, it said the order to get rid of Alan. He just grabs the letter. Knuckles are white. Yusha would never let that happen. 2 years later, Count Faraday died suddenly and unexpectedly, declared a heart attack on the surface, but those in the know it's a drug overdose. But the eldest son Leo looked indifferent, as if he had expected his father's death. He is more concerned about Blue Moon's movements than this. So the news of the Count's death spread silently. Not a single sound of mourning was stirred up. Alan, back in the room. Hurry up and discuss countermeasures with your young master. After all, that guy is going to take over the head of the family next year, and Alan had already packed his bags. Next, I plan to leave here to avoid the limelight. Go to the small village of Rodme south of Faraday. The moment Alan set off to leave, Leo is standing upstairs staring at his back. How do I get rid of Alan? Although this stupid brother has no extraordinary abilities, but it was Alan who had only been happy for 3 days at Rodme. He was forcibly called back to Faraday. Footing. The reason is that Faraday's eldest son Leo died suddenly. This filled Alan's head with question marks. I don't understand. Why did he die so unexpectedly? And the method of death does not match the game settings at all. He is the king who was pierced through the heart with a precise arrow. Who the hell killed Leona? At the same time, Alan noticed a strange phenomenon. The domestic servant in the voodoo. I look at myself with weird eyes. It looks like it's exploring some flood beast, but he obviously didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Soon Evan, who was out investigating, rushed back. Then asked him if he has found any clues on this trip, but Elvin was shocked. Come to my ear and whisper to my master. In fact, you took down Avalon overnight. The person behind the scenes? Let Alan be fierce on the spot. What's going on here? 3 days ago, on the day Alan left the mansion, Alan, who was by his side, was confused. He just couldn't figure it out. Since it is necessary to break away from the control of the family, why not run away to a busy big city? Facing this doubt, Alan directly denied, because that place wasn't in his plan at all, because in his calculations Rodme is the final destination of this layout, you know. Alan has already made a move. The 5 evils pulled from the abyss of misfortune, a plot originally doomed to destruction, has been completely reversed by him. And here's the thing. Rodme, this place inside the cylinder, is a blank space, no plot connection. Besides, the Faraday family still has a local building, a vacant house. It's the perfect place to lie down. Looking at Elvin with a puzzled face, Alan is only light shows that he has considerations. Elvin understands as soon as he hears it. His young master is obviously doing Tai Chi, not telling the truth at all. He had no idea. This young master is in the gourd. What is the amazing abacus hidden But what Alan doesn't know is every move he makes to leave the mansion didn't escape Leo's sight. Leo's original plan was rather sinister. He planned to quietly poison Alan after his father passed away. Mei-Ching wants Alan to offer to go to the border. It saved him a lot of effort. Leo wanted to spare his life, but the recent chaos in Avalon, it made him look at Alan more and more displeasing to the eye. After thinking for a moment, Leo gestured to Armin beside him to follow the carriage that Alan was in. Armin suddenly spoke when he heard the order in a blunt tone. He asked Leo if he wanted to get rid of the other party. This abrupt question instantly broke the silence in the room. The atmosphere suddenly became weird. Leo frowned. Armin has always obeyed him, never questioned the order. Today's abnormal behavior makes him very dissatisfied, about to open his mouth to reprimand and correct in the next second. A cold sharp blade unexpectedly emerges, pierced his chest without warning. Leo is totally fierce. He never expected his most trusted right-hand man will suddenly turn against the water, and this person in front of me is not Armin at all. His true identity is the knee of Blue Moon. The organization's sexuality is simple and extreme. It is to become the sharpest sword of that lord. As long as someone dares to hurt that Lord, Blue Moon members have the power to take the initiative to eliminate the threat. So for this fatal blow, Shidon is already by Leo's side, lurking for 2 years, watching Leo fall to the ground. Shidon coldly announced that it was a pity. Blue Moon has already given you a chance. As Leo lay dying, he also deluded that his organization would avenge him. Just crazy. What do people say? He doesn't know at all. His own power has long been uprooted by Blue Moon. No retaliation. At the same time, Ellen at Rod, me living a fairy life, comfortable to the extreme. The daily routine is to collapse when you are full enough greed. Get up and eat again, happy and comfortable. This leisurely state, it's in Alan's heart, the correct way to open a noble life, but this comfort has not yet warmed up. In just 3 days his peaceful life was completely disrupted for no other reason. The eldest son of the Faraday family, Vio, was suddenly ejected to death. He has to go back and run the show. The rest of the family is fried. Everyone goes crazy, mindful of the ins and outs of things, and Alan is in the crowd's brain drama. He was directly portrayed as a murderous demon. Alan stood there with a helpless face. Who can tell him? How did things go this way? And Evan thought about it. I think everyone's guess is not unreasonable after all. This whole thing gets out of the way. The greatest beneficiary, it is clearly his own young master Alan, you know. They just left the mansion. Leo committed suicide on his hind foot. It's too coincidental, so Alan became the perfect alibi. Proof of sole legal heir. Coincidentally, the Avalon organization associated with Leo also disappeared out of thin air at this time. All clues are broken, so let's put it all together. No one will die because of Leo. Trouble with Alan in the eyes of everyone. Alan's operation directly consecrated the gods, transformed into a swordsman and an assassin. It was even cast into the Earl's tabernacle. The title of the Black Hand, it's just its own villain aura, but only Alan knows. The situation in front of him made him unable to argue. Jumping into the Yellow River, can't wash it well, although he did nothing the whole time. Just a pure melon eater, but everyone pointed the finger at him just as Alan was struggling. He suddenly remembered the Blue Moon that Evan had mentioned earlier. Is the death of Leo? It was this mysterious organization who did it. He immediately checked with Evan, however. Evan directly rejected this speculation. The key investigative evidence is given according to the clues currently held by the Union. This is by no means what the Blue Moon organization calls, because there is a distinct characteristic of what Blue Moon does. They never leave a corpse behind, but it will definitely leave a mark. And judging from the traces on site, Avalon's people were all killed by the sword. The wound is very special. Combined with these clues, the murderer is most likely a top expert whose strength has reached the level of a sword. St. Alan thought about it, and thought it made sense. A grassroots organization like Blue Moon suddenly emerged in the game plot. He is familiar with it. Never happened. It's really unlikely to have this strength, so here's the problem. Who is behind the scenes? Make such a big wave. The other side, Yutya asked his subordinates. Seriously, does the action leave a tail? Lena was the first to come forward and report an affirmative tone. No trace was left. Even the footprints at the scene were cleaned clean. It will never be tracked down. Xuelang finished hitting the dagger in his hand while posting scripts. Only a bunch of unrecognizable items were left. About the remnants of Avalon, 486 of them have been completely eliminated by Divas, and the rest slipped through the net. It was neatly split in half by Bin Laden. No one was lucky enough to listen to the report of his subordinates. Yusha revealed starred eyes. His tone was full of satisfaction. Perfect. You know, Avalon, who once covered the sky in the kingdom, turned to dust in just 5 days, just when everyone thought the mission was over successfully, and Bin Laden, again, made sense. He said with a solemn expression, I think this cleanup worked not perfect. As soon as this comes out, Yusha's face changed instantly. The atmosphere at the scene also became tense. Then Raiden took out a document, points out the key issues in the file records, the nobles who were closely associated with Avalon among them. The Ardea family is the most suspected. Yudia quickly flipped through the information. His eyes are getting colder. Confirmed to Laden in a low voice, you should know very well. What do I want you to do next? The tone is full of unquestionable here. This everyone present immediately tensed their nerves, ready for action. Bin Laden sweats slightly. A firm response. I already understand what you mean. Please rest assured. I will use the most low-key way clean up this family until this moment. Landing with a hanging mind by Tia. Internal medicine. Now, it's just a mess on the other side of the Union to end. After some thorough investigation and verification, they concluded that this has nothing to do with Blue Moon. It is rare for all the unions to reach a unified voice. They all say it's a certain sword saint came up with this map of hell, but Yusha never dared to. Relax, we have to keep an eye on these unions. This thing, it must not reach the ears of that adult. Here's the bottom line. Absolutely no touching. Devas's mind is full of question marks at the moment, although he is the blood relative of that lord. That's right, but earlier, he had the intention to kill, to get rid of adults. Could it be that this action is not an order from an adult? The scarlet in Yusha's eyes instantly skyrocketed like a prairie fire. I told you that, didn't I? I waited in front of the Lord, it's just ant dust. You don't deserve to have your own ideas at all. Acting without orders, will this work? Now do you understand me? Our existence, it's a machine that runs for orders. As long as the Lord doesn't speak up, no one is allowed to take a step towards the moon thunderpool. Never let him down on us. Deus licked the corners of his lips with his dry tongue. His eyes went straight into Yusha's cold eyes. He really can't understand the operation. A ruthless character like Yusha, for fear of being discovered by that person, and trembling with anxiety to this extremely nervous state, Divas was full of doubts but dare not ask more. After all, it's all about the great moon, but also for the unfathomable adult, the other side. Since Leo's funeral came to an end, Alan is now thoroughly absorbed in family affairs. I can't get rid of it. It's been a busy month, and my feet are dizzy, but from the bottom of my heart, I just want to be a rotten Buddhist system. Neil, although Leo did offend a lot of people during his lifetime. Answer: original plot, he's not supposed to get his lunch until 6 years later. Just because the way the brothers died completely went wrong, the whole direction of the game is turned upside down. All trivia, all on his own air, and everyone in the family has become more curly than before. I remember when the Count was still around. These guys are the masters of fishing and messing around every day. Little do they know that in their eyes it's a delicate situation. If you don't work hard, will be kicked away by Master Alan at any time. He had already understood this. Little Jojo, it seems that everyone is afraid of him, but Alan did. I hope they can sort things out on their own. Save yourself, this lazy cancer patient. Worry about it yourself. Meanwhile came the night. Look at this incredible scene. Elvin's face was full of unconcealed surprise, because my young master only takes 2 years. The magic level has soared all the way to the 2nd level. You know, it usually takes 4 years to do this. And you also have to have a pretty good magical talent. Blessing. Although Alan practiced magic only to protect himself, it's not that simple to really control him. The premise is that it must be accurate millimeter control magic, although I managed to do it myself, but the real level is only half-baked. Sinyao in this magical fantasy world, just beginning to master magic, makes me really excited to the point of insomnia. With deep learning he discovered the harsh truth: my own magic core is so pitifully small. This innate core, like an athlete's talent, and my core is compared to others, it's ridiculously mini. Just as I dreamt of my broken core, Elvin's voice suddenly interrupted his thoughts. It turned out that I received an invitation to the dance party today. If those 2 brothers were still alive, I'm not coming, but now I'm Count Faraday. Identity is different. Some of the necessary relationships have to be managed. Well, this dance is the southern part of the kingdom of Astrea held. The purpose is to provide a platform for the nobles to communicate. Therefore, Alan also plans to take this opportunity to make more connections. After all, good aristocratic relations, it's very important to my Barai life, but reality gave itself a loud slap in the face. The nobles present seemed to be betting on the god of plague. Force him to tell the truth. He actually expected this situation. After all, the original owner Alan was born humble and uneducated, although 3 generations of ancestors used to be the famous family of the kingdom, but now the Faraday family has long been discredited with the most notoriously stubborn civilization in the East. To be more precise, it's just a bunch of chaotic devil kings that you can't afford to mess with. But to change the image, I have already prepared myself, specially spent half a day practicing wine tasting skills. The texture of this wine is really unique, especially the mellow fragrance. Love. He was thinking about taking a few bottles home to taste slowly, and that gentle smile that I've practiced for so long. I'm sure everyone will find me kind, but the daughter of the Earl next to her is sweating coldly. Turned around and ran, shouting to report to his father. This operation just stunned me. How to talk to yourself. The expected script is completely different. The surrounding nobles began to whisper. A lot of discussion said he was 100 times more of a jerk than those 2 brothers. He actually used vicious words to force others to send red wine. Alan behind him could only hold back a smile, tapped me on the shoulder, and I just walked around the dance. Inexplicable. You reap a bunch of so-called spoils. I knew this earlier. Why do you still spend time learning to taste red wine? The reputation of the Faraday family far worse than he thought, plus the rumor that he got rid of his own brother spread around Alan. Now Yenran has become an existence that everyone avoids. It seems my aristocratic social life was completely ruined, but just as he turned around to go out and get some air, a woman's eyes were firmly fixed on him. Go to the open space outside. Alan began to review seriously which part went wrong and screwed everything up. Suddenly a gentle girl whispered in her ear, sorry to bother you. Can I have a word with you? Is someone finally willing to take the initiative to talk to you? However, when he subconsciously looked back, but I didn't even see half a figure look down, I just found a slim girl nervously clutching the skirt and looking at me. I'm very sorry, I was rude. I am the 3rd daughter of the Duke of Ardia's family. Loria Ardia family, that's the name he just said. You know this family, but one of the 3 shady scenes in Psychidlia, and he was known as the Rascal of the North. Can take the initiative to come together and talk. Such a big shot. I don't remember this at all in the game. I even doubt he's not a character in the game at all. Before Alan could clear his head, Loria went straight to Lord Alan. Please grant me your strength, because I feel I might die here tonight. In the game settings of Alan Cleaner, the Ardia family obviously has only 4 members. This means that he was before the story began, is already dead. Loria at the moment telling Alan about his troubled life. He was originally the Duke's favorite world child, born relying on the protection of my father. It has been difficult to survive so far, however. Now the Duke of Ardia's life has come to an end. Once the father passes away, his half-sister will definitely kill him. Alan was puzzled. Why is that? I have to ask him for help. A person I have never met, judging by the strength he has solving this kind of problem, is simply a piece of cake. Loria's always calm face for the first time. There was real anxiety. Alan directly chose to refuse. Loria then said, I won't let Alan help in vain. If the operation is successful, he is willing to pay half of his estate. It's not that Alan really doesn't want to lend a hand. But right now he can't even guarantee his own life, so it is best not to give the other party illusory hope. I hope that even if Alan is willing to help, he's not one of those powerful figures with eyes in the sky. When Alan looked back in the almost silent eyes of Loria, heartbreaking despair, Alan was still full of helplessness, after all, turning her gaze back to Loria standing still. But I do wish you luck. In order to slightly relieve the tiredness in the chest, Alan barely squeezed out a polite greeting, to be honest. I really hope the other party can find capable reinforcements. At the same time, all of Alan's actions, all under the close watch of Blue Moon. The conversation between Alan and Loria just now. Devos decided to report to Judea first, and Lena signaled to him not to worry too much, because that girl is a member of the Ardia family, the only surviving member not included in the purge list. Devos instantly grasped the business. If this is the case, then the follow-up will be much easier. They just need to focus on protecting that adult at the same time. Strictly prevent the news of the Avalon incident from leaking out. Just as Alan was wandering around for a long time and returning to the living room, a cold greeting stopped him again. Tattooed Alan couldn't help but get excited. Are you finally going to make noble friends? But when he looked back and saw the face of the person who came, the whole person froze in place. How could it be him? Sure enough, those who would take the initiative to strike up a conversation were not ordinary nobles. Then Alan told the eldest lady of the Genonia family with impeccable aristocratic etiquette. Kalia asked in surprise, "Do you know me?" And Alan said yes. It is quite famous in many fields. After all, he is the recognized third of the Kingdom of Astrea, one of the big shady northern overlords. Ardia family, Faraday family, the leader of the East and the West. Genonia family, the eldest daughter of the Count. Miss Kalia. If Faraday is the representative of the ruffian rascal, then Genonia is the dark empire of corporate operation. What Alan really needs, it's the connections that keep him safe and sound for a better and peaceful life in the future. Absolutely not with this dangerous person. Excessive intersection. But Miss Kalia, a rare beauty indeed. Kalia looks with interest, looking at Alan. I want to have a deep conversation with you. I don't know what you think. Alan immediately said that there are many people here it is inconvenient to discuss in detail. But what he was really thinking was completely different. I just hope that the other party can let me leave as soon as possible. Kalia picked May in surprise. There is a tendency to suddenly realize exactly as described in the rumors. Alan, who was seen through, could only play dumb. Looking forward to our next meeting. Not waiting for Alan to respond, he turned away gracefully. All that was left was a confused Alan standing there. At the same time, the Deus duo noticed an anomaly. There's a man in black spying on the Lord, but they did not receive the relevant processing instructions in the blink of an eye. More than 10 days later, Alan takes Alan to the depths of a remote canyon. Finally found this hidden location, although it is easy to locate in the game real world, but it took more than half a month. The real purpose of Alan's attendance at the dance, in fact, it is to find this mysterious labyrinth. This labyrinth of hell is in the game settings. After successfully clearing the level, you can obtain precious artifacts. Fortunately, Alan still remembers it clearly. Key skills to navigate the maze to the deepest part of the valley. A drama door engraved with mysterious runes suddenly appeared. Evan also feels the unusual atmosphere here, but compared to this he found it even more incredible. How did his young master know about such a hidden place? That's because I often come here to explore. AI 1 yen, the host on the spot. Alan almost leaked when his mind wandered. Hurry up and find a way to round the field. I was joking. Of course. I naturally have a special source of intelligence. Elvin sighed helplessly. The young master always likes to finish jokes in a serious tone. Enter the interior of the labyrinth. A giant dead guard device hangs above the problem-solving mechanism. If the answer is wrong, gather together and you will be photographed and crushed. But the puzzle is the young master seemed unusually calm at this moment, although he has served the young master for 4 years, but I still can't figure out the true thoughts of the young master, and the young master knows the secret stars of the distant hell like the back of his hand. The reason why Alan is willing follow the mysterious young master, it is because the young master form always upholds justice. As Alan accurately solves the puzzle, the door to the polytechnic treasure is finally slowly opening. The eyes are full of bright gold and silver treasures. However, Alan's gaze only lock one seemingly ordinary black ring, because he knows coveting other treasures will lead to disaster. This ring of restraint is his true goal. The moment they step out of the maze, Elvin's face suddenly changed. Is this also expected by the young master? Just left the maze entrance, dozens of magic elephants blocked all paths. Elvin knows he can't beat these magical creations, but I'm ready to sacrifice myself to protect the young master. Seeing this, Alan's head was indifferent. Leave it to me this time. He calmly walked towards the demons. Ivankin broke out in cold sweat. After all, the young master only knows second-level magic. There's no way to break these steel bangs. May waits for Evan to be born. Alan has recited the mysterious wrinkles, inherited a fragment of Nyakula's great will. Please grant me the power of the law of restraint. With the spell echoing through the world, the whole world fell into a frozen state. In an instant, an ethereal and mysterious voice sounded immediately. Please state 2 enforceable constraints. Alan was also taken aback by the spectacular scene in the game settings. Only a simple option window will pop up here. It's called the Realm of Constraints. While imposing restrictions grant the corresponding casino, Alan took a deep breath. Read the constraints that are already there. The first rule is to cast the magician. The unique craftsmanship of Babylonia must be used. What do you want in exchange for this restriction? The power that can slightly distort the laws of the world. Restrictions granted. The request Article 2 use of magician restrictions. Sing the ancient language of Babylonia. What do you want to achieve with this? Same power as just asked for mystical saint. Cause this repeated request. There was a brief silence. This made Alan suddenly nervous. Are the operation steps wrong? Just in case, he also deliberately imitated the skill guide. Here is the premiere of universe and double condition to maximize the power of magic. He has already cleared this level countless times. It stands to reason that there should be no error. A moment later ethereal voice echoes again, I grant your contract, request I still remember the ancient handprints that have long been lost and mysteriously wrinkled humans? Thank you for inheriting this precious will. A new doubt arose in Alan's mind, what does it mean to inherit the will? At the same time, the boundaries of constraints are gradually blurring. It seems that the contract has been officially established. The lucky one who inherits the will. I will always protect your growth. The moment the voice fell, Alan's consciousness was dragged back to reality. Elvin is desperately trying to pull him out of the golem's encirclement. Alan knows, even if all the magic is exhausted, can't make lightning magic suddenly break the existing line, so he wants to take this opportunity to verify what kind of heaven-defying power can be exchanged for restriction and driving on behalf of others. The tortuous rain just popped out of the teeth. The dim light instantly exploded into a swimming sigh. And Arcpeepa is thinking the originally inconspicuous ball of light suddenly spewed out blue light in the blink of an eye. Hundreds of sharp lights differentiated, then they aggregate into a giant ball that obscures the sky. At this critical juncture Alan's hands are quickly tied. The thumb is tightly pressed against the knuckles of the middle finger. His gestures are mysterious, instantly shot a stone-like sharp light, and the last of the incantations. The sound of the ground. A horde of demons in the canyon, immediately fixed in place like a sculpture. Violent lightning rips the air, ruthlessly penetrate the body of every demon. The steel monster of the annotation drama can't even struggle in time. It disintegrates into pieces. Evan, who was just about to charge with his weapon, stunned at the moment. The whole person will be in place. This combat power is simply breaking through the sky. Is this still human? Evan couldn't take it anymore. Step forward and ask, shouldn't you have been hiding the table before? This strength is too exaggerated. Alan shook his head gently. I didn't hide it at all. Alan's eyes widened. It's really just second world magic facing his shock, and Alan said yes. The worldview on Alan's face is about to be refreshed at this time, but Alan's surface is cloudy and windy. But my heart has already set off a storm, to be honest. He didn't even expect it. This magic can unleash this power, you know? Cesadiria's turn-based combat setting hidden mystery just matched the Madra and spell during the turn. It can strengthen the magic effect layer by layer like this chain lightning. He used a total of 4 sets of spells through refractory projectiles, anti-glaucoma, radiation ripple, forcibly stacked 5 rounds to put it bluntly. He just understood this, the magical setting to export this lightning show. However, due to its own limitations, he casts any magic have to cooperate with gestures, and spells do the math. The power of this magic has been roughly doubled. Alan shrugged helplessly. I thought tier 2 magic was like that as a result. This effect is directly super steel. Even he himself was taken aback. Escape completely with Elvin, who escaped the maze, slumped on the ground. Gasping for breath, this experience was more tiring than 10 fights in person. Can't stop complaining about this place. And then it occurred to Alan. This labyrinth seems to have its own name. When I checked the strategy in the game community before, the players call it the Piran Labyrinth. It is said to be a man named Piran Newbies built this place. Alan was confused. Never heard of this name at all. Alan didn't explain much either, just say get out of here first and learn from the long memory. He knew very well crafts that match magic attributes can increase selection, spells can also enhance magical qualities. These are game settings, but it's nothing like a game here, not in charge of the number invariant form. When the spell was chanted just now, the appearance of magic is changing, visible to the naked eye. Could it be that his magic control ability is enough? To see these details, Alan secretly calculated when the magic is full. Be sure to test it carefully, and the highlight operation he just did, it was all seen by Rena. This made him curious. The more I feel that Alan is unfathomable after Alan and Elvin are far away. Lena immediately came to the battlefield. Just now, mysterious text carved on the wall. It's not a problem for him at all. It was the forgotten age of the gods, the ancient texts of the Aranep Empire. It says, Coward Piran. For a friend who is doomed to be lonely, Rena whispered the inscription. I couldn't help but laugh. In a dark year, Deperin is legendary. He fought off the Kuroshio countless times, even beat Eric. That just takes a glance make believers. The terrifying existence that willingly sacrifices its heart as a natural inheritance of ancient library's guardian on a mission. Lena recognized the inscription on the doorframe at a glance. It was Piran's work. This labyrinth was indeed built by that Piran. He was mumbling something to himself. Alan's voice suddenly rang in his head, startled him. Rena already knew Alan was followed by Queen Tia. They're not generic. But he never expected this lord to make even Piran respect. And here's what's even more outrageous. That seemingly ordinary magic, just now the spell uttered, hides a mystery. No ordinary way. All kinds of thoughts collided violently in his mind, make him confused. Think about it. Rena suddenly stood up, all over, know how to look in the direction Alan left his face. Gradually, a blazing light of reverence emerged. Just then Rena sensed a mysterious aura. Now look sideways. I saw Divas standing there for some time, purple gold pupil shimmer. He sweat slightly at Rena, said that the man in black was dead. Lena was shocked. That person's head, it was forcibly broken in midair, but he didn't notice any magic fluctuations throughout the process. It's so weird. After listening to the narration of Divas, Lena fell into a brief silence. This must be reported to Lord Judea immediately. He made an immediate decision. After a few simple exchanges, the figures of the two instantly merged into the night, disappear. The screen changes, come to the bottom of Denonia House. Kalia is lost in thought. My mind is full of Alan I saw during the day. It seems that those rumors are true. This man is not simple. The expression is so cold that it makes people look unfathomable as an abyss. Although the Zinonia family is famous, but his father was rarely socially involved. Alan can call out his father's name. It doesn't make sense. Think of this. Kalia snapped her fingers lightly. The Count of Denonia next to him fell to the ground. He lost consciousness. It turned out that the Count had already been turned into a puppet by him. The entire family is under his control, but how did Alan find the flaw? This puzzled him. Even the guards who hide themselves in the shadows was accurately detected by him. Just then a subordinate rushed in looking panicked. Lord Kalia, something happened to your room. The situation is urgent. Kalia rushed to the room, immediately entering the door. I saw an amazing scene, self-arranged dark position. He actually died straight in the room. The dark life support device did not start. It means he died defenseless. Kalia instantly understood this body was deliberately placed here. He wasn't angry. Instead, he revealed an interested smile. Interesting, just as we met. They grabbed a big handle on me. The doubts in Kalia's heart deepened, and he carefully calculated all this. Aaron didn't know anything about this. Loria just stepped out of the prom. His palms suddenly clenched. A self-deprecating sneer escaped from his lips. He realized how naive and stupid he had been. Witnessed the aura of Alan's inner stock. It is by no means that ordinary aristocratic young masters can have a Duke of Ardea respected by all forces as a guest. He is a ruthless character that even the faction giants dare not provoke. Alan's gaze was icy cold, examine like a father. Because of this, at the moment of our first meeting, Loria will desperately seize these lives. Unfortunately, it was still a waste of effort in the end. He has too few cards to play. Nothing more than a reward from the Duke's father, a false interpretation that is ready to evaporate. It's above his head. After all, I'm still holding down 4 blood relatives. Siblings, and those people. He was like a member of the Ardea family. A transparent person who can be erased at any time. If his father had not always felt sorry for him, Loria knows better than anyone. He has long been completely solved by those brothers and sisters. However, just as he was preparing for a tragic end, it was the urgent cry of the female doctor. It completely reversed his mortal fate. The 2 young masters, Philin and Keg, were suddenly exposed when Loria blew up the hall. The whole person is completely in place of his 4 siblings who tortured him for years. 2 people lost the token at the same time. It's just too bizarre to be true. Didn't wait for Loria to come back from the shock. The trembling cry of the maid came from upstairs again. Master Timilian and Miss Mariana also dead. Loria Wanyen immediately rushed to the upstairs room. After witnessing the incredible scene firsthand, he will be unable to move in place. Who is sitting down? This matter is above the Ardea mansion. A shadow swept away like a ghost that was bin Laden. Who was on the cleaning mission? Loria was sure of those people. It won't be completely torn so soon. After all, there are several heirs, but now all the brothers died at the same time. That doesn't make a lot of sense. In this moment, Loria suddenly remembered what Alan had said when he said goodbye. But I wish you luck. So that man is the real mastermind behind the scenes. Thinking of this, his whole body stood up instantly. Just like this, overnight, Loria inexplicably became the only heir to the family, and he has no idea what he is with the monster. Made a deal, but now there is no turning back. How miserable is it to betray that person? It's easy to see what happened to his brothers, so now he has only one option left. 2 months later, Alan received an unexpected letter from Count Ardea. This puzzled him. After all, he has never had any contact with his family. After he opened the envelope, found a bottle of red wine, and a card inside. This wine comes from the famous production area of the Empire. Seal notes only a pitiful 3 bottles are produced per year. The price of 3 bottles is as high as thousands of gold coins. Then he specifically confirmed to the housekeeper who delivered the letter, is this really what Loria pointed out for me? The butler gave a very clear answer and emphasized this is a hand-picked gift from the new Earl. After listening to the housekeeper's explanation, a playful expression appeared on Alan's face, that is to say, it only takes 2 months. The 3rd daughter of the Duke of Ardea. Loria. He actually sat directly on the Duke's seat. It turned out that after the death of the old Count Ardea, Loria naturally inherited the title. Recall past situations. He's not even qualified to step into this office. His brothers all died mysteriously. Only he himself is safe, because he has a perfect alibi. He was at the dance when the verdict happened. Besides the power he cultivated long before going home, it was cleaned up by those brothers. In other words, he doesn't have the capital to fight against his brother at all. Now Loria remembers all the previous descendants unconsciously oozing layers of cold sweat. Did that person even calculate this kind of detail? Although Alan refused his request for help with a cold face secretly, everything is arranged seamlessly. What puzzled him the most was even if the Duke's heirs are dead, the other party never took the initiative to contact him, and it took a long time to think about it. He finally came up with the only reasonable explanation. Alan is playing a bigger game. Although the Ardea family has some power, but it's nothing compared to what my wife has. This shows that the other party has other plans. The Faraday family is run solely by business, can become a giant in the dark world, and what Alan is missing happens to be owned by the Ardea family. The only thing Loria could think of was political privilege, so he wanted to use the power of the nobles. The Ardea family, a century of reputation. Loria knows that the contract is established and cannot be returned. Therefore, he must now take care of the family affairs, but the thought of facing that person eventually. Loria's perennially frozen mouth, it appeared for the first time. You're not even aware of it. I hope this gift will satisfy him. The butler who completed the gift-giving task immediately retired. What Alan didn't expect was the frozen Loria became an earl. He vaguely sensed that the plot was beginning to deviate. A few months later, there are only 5 years left until the opening of the original Storymaster is wrong. Now it's time to address you as the Count, although the official ceremony has not yet been held, but I can now legally use Faraday, the title of Lord, but this is a complete departure from my original plan. At first I just wanted to be in the name of nobility, enjoy life comfortably, although the current development is unexpected, but it's not such a bad thing. Then Evan respectfully handed over a letter. This is a letter from Tia at the orphanage. At the same time, Alan asked Evan casually, any leads on Leo's killer? Elvin shook his head helplessly. Assassin's Guild, so far no useful news, but Elvin couldn't help but ask questions. Your purpose should not just be revenge, right? Alan nodded directly to admit it's just a precaution. After all, I triggered the butterfly effect. The game's plot has been destined. And then he opened Judea's letter. Curious what the kids will write this time. The stationery is filled with the daily trivialities of the orphanage recently. Devos has been obsessed with cash puppet shows that girl Shualong plays games with her friends all day. Linai Dao is to read books, and Do Crafts quietly Bin Laden has recently been fascinated by the Dari courtyard landscape. Reading these words full of life, Alan's mouth involuntarily revealed an old father's smile. Although the 5 evils are not his biological children, but in 5 years he watched these children grow up in an orphanage now. Competition creates paternal feelings. Then he asked Evan how old Yusha was now. Evan is confused, but still answered that he should be 19 years old. The children you brought back were all about the same age. Hear this, their well-behaved image, it collapsed in Alan's heart. They are the ones who will destroy the world in the future. Just thinking about it makes my scalp feel numb, let alone expect them to be grateful. Alan smiled helplessly. It's almost time for them to go out and see the world. Alan seemed to take his cue. Spotted head, but didn't you just adopt them on purpose? Alan explained to Alan, it's no longer necessary. These kids are grown-ups. It should also pave the way for their future lives. The reason why he brought these people together, it was supposed to stop them from awakening, become the source of the 5 evils that destroy the kingdom. Now that it has been taught to this extent, there's no need to keep them trapped in the orphanage. Their respective strengths flashed through Alan's mind. Yusha is good at spreading the faith. Deus is proficient in swordsmanship and assassination. Linai focuses on alchemy research. Snow Wolf has warrior talent. Bin Laden has rare apostolic qualifications. If you can place them in the right place, it's going to be a terrifying force. This plan is really worth trying. Since you want to reply, he decided to commit the 5 great evils that were about to enter the world. Everyone has a special gift anyway. These things will be handed over to them sooner or later as time goes by, in the blink of an eye. It was evening. Alan spent a lot of time writing 5 letters. Seal it carefully and give it to Evan. When Elvin turned to leave the study, Alan couldn't help but think that in the future when they rise you should be able to follow along and get some light. A few days later in the underground secret room of Donggu Orphanage, this time the Great Moon, they gave different orders to each of us. 5 young men each read Alan's letter and they were curious. That Lord, what kind of path will be arranged for them? When all the Blue Moon staff received the letter from the Lord, the entire interior exploded directly, except for Judea, who already knew it. Other people's faces are covered in circles and question marks either way. It looks like a daily chat between friends. It doesn't look like a task is arranged at all. Facing the clear and confused eyes of everyone, Yusha gave the standard answer. He already said adults' instructions are always hidden in the most common text. The camouflage in the word is seamless. He then revealed the original secret trip. The first target is clearly marked on it, and a complete follow-up action plan. It was from that moment on the Blue Moon was handed over to him, and all of them, they are all wives selected by the Lord himself. At this point Deus raises a crucial question. Letters are used to prevent intelligence leakage, and he understood that. But why not meet directly? Or use a faster magic communicator? Layton next to him immediately nodded and reconsidered. If you are really worried about leaking the letter, wouldn't it be less safe? Facing the continuous questioning of 2 people, Judea's voice suddenly cooled. He reminded the audience. The only thing they have to do is obey. To see the terrible look in Judea's eyes, cold absolute trust. Divas swallowed the words in an instant. The atmosphere at the scene fell directly to freezing point. Fortunately, Shualong smiled in time, offered to see other tasks. This relieved the embarrassment immediately after. Everyone unfolded their hands, whisper out their destinations. Under the guidance of the Great Moon, Jelang is going to the desert colony to report, but what he hated most in his life was Sanda. Dawn got tickets to the entertainment capital of La Texas. Renai's target is the labyrinthine city of Raltania, and Yusha's destination the holy nation Rosario. Every letter they have clearly identified their new identity, an identity task, although Devos did not understand why he wanted to be a knight, but the letter not only promises full resources to support still there. Each location is marked with a mysterious insight. What exactly is revealed by nature? Judea emphasizes again at the end, in any public setting the word Blue Moon is never allowed to be mentioned unless the Lord takes the initiative to mention it. The 5 evils that should have destroyed the world at this moment. As a Blue Moon believer embarked on the long journey to execute Alan's letters, fast forward 3 months. Alan is immersed in studying the essential difference between magic and spells. Book theory is ultimately just talk on paper. He needs to experiment with his own hands to figure out the way. At the same time, he asks Evan again about Leo. The first got the same reply as last time. There is still no progress on the Union side. Alan immediately realized the butterfly effect has gone berserk. He not only changed the fate of the 5 evils, even Loria, who should have died. Aldea is alive and well and has become an earl, is expanding its power in politics. The situation is about to get completely out of control. Alan then motioned Alan to stop the investigation. This is obviously a hidden forces are operating behind the scenes in this world. Few things escape the eyes of intelligence unions, but once you touch areas you shouldn't touch, the end is likely to be erased in an instant. Just thinking about it made his scalp tingle. If you leave early because you are nosy, then all preventive measures will be reduced to a joke. As long as he doesn't take the initiative to step on the other party's red line, the other party shouldn't bother him either. It's pointless to keep investigating. After listening, Alan said that he would let the Union stop in the afternoon, and then he reported another thing. Divas has been discriminated against in Calibun. The news came as a surprise to Alan. I didn't expect his promotion to be so fast soon after. 3 months passed. The new news from Divas comes again. He actually formed his own knight order. Alan was stunned. That kid has been knighted for less than 2 months. To form a knight order requires at least experts and strength, isn't it? Elvin has the same doubts. But the news can get through so quickly. It means that there has been a complete sensation over there in Calibun. It's being talked about in the streets. Keep going at this momentum. In less than 10 years the fifth paladin may be born. The screen changes. Half a year passed quietly since they left the orphanage. A whole year has passed as Alan gradually adjusted to the Count's day at regular work. Rhythm Elven sent another explosion. Intelligence Devos has become Caliboon, one of only 5 paladins. Alan, who heard the news, just stay there for 2.5 seconds, not just swordsman, to get this title. And the swordsman here refers to the swordsman, the legend of the Kensei. It went through his mind in an instant. On the mainland of Sikidlia, Kensei must be based on the Blade of Aura, also awakened the exclusive skill called derivation. It's hard to be moral. He really got there. However, according to the information Evan obtained, Devos is not a true master of swordsmanship, to be precise. It's just a foot away. It seems that the derivative has not been condensed yet, but he did earn the title of paladin. It is said that the fourth Fiola lost to him in contempt. Maybe he was promoted exceptionally. The war between Caliban and the northern Manchus, it's been going on for more than a decade. Last year, a paladin died in battle. Let Deus go up. It can both stabilize the star and deter opponents in theory. Without thinking obtains derived skills. It will take more than 10 years of hard work. Current Caliboon. First Reinhardt. I was 32 years old to do that. Alan knows Reinhardt very well. In the third storyline, he always came to the rescue as a temporary ally. This person has been practicing swordsmanship since the age of 5. Ultimately, he became the youngest connoisseur in history. Even with this heaven-defying talent, it also took almost 20 years. It only took Deus a year. This is simply not something that humans can do. Speaking of which, Alan couldn't help but prick his mouth, envy written all over his face. He subconsciously touched his chin. The cool touch of tea comes from your fingertips, that is to say. The higher they fly, the greater the reward you can receive. Just then he built the stack of letters at the corner of the table for the last year on the communication list. Only Judea's name is still active. You won't even be able to drink some soup in the end. Will you? Even in the Holy Kingdom still insist on writing back regularly, and in the letter it's filled with all the deadly vices he picked up as a kid. However, it is very hot within their small group, although these people have never seen his true face, but at least say thank you for that gift. Thinking of this, Alan felt that the whole person was not good. But he quickly shook his head from the idea. They did not become the 5 great evils that destroyed the kingdom. He should be thankful, so they're fine. But it's sunny. The screen now shifts to the central area of Caliboon, that magnificent building, the official training ground of the Knights of Divas. He is also the head of the Japanese Knight, the youngest swordsman in the history of the kingdom. The mansion of Dusmatarian Deus sighed softly, eyes past casually carved curtains, facing the manor. Elder brother, when the cries of silver bells came from the courtyard, the girl in the puffy skirt is nodding. Her feet wave hard at him. The sun is light and pleasant in the ends of his hair. Divas involuntarily raised the corners of his mouth, although a full year has passed, but thinking back to that past, he still feels a little embarrassed. A few years ago, Divas lost everything at the hands of the Black Goat, including his only sister. Since then he is left with uncontrollable anger and hatred. It is an indisputable fact that Blue Moon rescued him, but it wasn't enough for him to swear allegiance to Blue Moon. Blue Moon promises to give him a chance for revenge. That's why he followed Blue Moon's fate, participate in various trainings, and performing those dangerous tasks. These tasks became the cornerstone of his fight against the forces of darkness. Until about a year ago, he received the letter that changed everything. The gifts mentioned in the letter at that time, he didn't really care, but he still went to check it out. However, when he arrived at the location specified in the letter, the scene in front of him made him completely in place. The sister, who should have died at the hands of the Black Goat, busy in the hotel, intact at the moment. Shuttle thought of just seeing my sister, just hugged, out of control, crying, still makes his ears hot. Deus followed the address on the letter all the way, finally stopped in front of a humble house. The moment he pushed the door open, he stopped breathing. The sister, who should have died under the knife of a Black Goat butcher, standing in front of you, alive. Countless questions came flooding in like a tide. What has my sister gone through all these years? But that surge of emotion calmed down a little. Devos took it from his sister's sharp mouth. I heard the ups and downs of the escape. He confessed that he had fallen into the clutches of the Black Goat, thrown into the iron cage of darkness. I've been through countless days and nights. However, just as he was being taken to the execution ground, on the verge of execution, a dazzling light descended like a god. Valve precision chopping cabinet hands, butcher knife. He seizes the fleeting life, desperately rushed out of that hell on earth. But the outside world is just as cruel and ruthless. Just as he was unfortunately captured by slave traders, the moment that is about to be pushed to the auction stage, a mercenary named Evan was born, rescue him from the sea of misery by lightning. Since then, he's been suffering from that grown-up's illness. Sharp handwritten letter from the previous accident. It is the heartfelt words he wrote out of gratitude. He confessed to his brother, if not for Lord Alan's timely assistance, I'm afraid I've already turned into a ghost. After listening to my sister's thrilling account, Divas had no doubts. Why can the great Blue Moon predict? After all, he has never revealed that the family is against their will. Although Yusha has passed the clues, the crime committed by the Black Goat should know nothing about the specifics. How could he know so much? However, this question did not trouble him for too long, because of what Yusha once said. The moment was clearly recollected in his mind, that Lord knows everything in the world. One day, you will understand my following. Devos savored these words over and over again. The declaration that was once eaten by him now, it makes him suddenly enlightened. All doubts are tight-fitting opponents. Then he realized how stupid he had been, failed to grasp Yudia's anxiety. It turns out that the Lord has already taken control of the situation. Everything was as expected at this moment. I am recalling the words of the Blue Moon at that time. It's clearly a hint of knowing the inside story. He has been secretly guiding the child, who is ready to face his fate alone. Sister's sharp and worried call pulled Deus back from the chaos of his thoughts. He realizes his plan to take revenge on the Black Goat. I'm afraid it has already been seen by that adult Cug, who swung the sword without authorization in exchange for such tolerance from the other party. For Deus, who is caught in the vortex of hatred, my sister's survival is a miracle, and the Lord secretly sheltered in his name, a gift more precious than the stars. Deus finally realized at this moment what Euthia said was not fanatical worship, but absolute trust based on facts. He silently vowed in his heart, no matter what the road ahead, must repay this kindness. From now on he will follow the shadow of the Moon Knighthood at Caliboon, ascend to the top of the Knight's throne. This is the first step in his Plan no matter how many thorns there are in the future, he will move forward fearlessly hoping to one day cause bleeding in person, offer a reward worthy of this kindness, prove your worth in the moonlight. He murmured the post-war history of the Japanese knights, resolutely embarked on the journey of crusade against the Manchus, just to build one a legendary order worthy of a great blue moon. His eyes turned to Alan on the other side. Since the palace dance last year, he became obsessed with studying magic wrinkles. After countless attempts and failures, these wrinkles does possess the power to usurp magical rules. When he previously explored the ruins, 4 groups of wrinkles were used as blueprints for the study. Twisted wrinkles enhance magical forms, let the scattering range get exponential and increase retort wrinkles, and shred established structures, gives the launcher the ability to space jump. Golden wrinkles seem to summon 9 days of thunder. It can perform a devastating critical attack. Enhancement on the condition magic, and the last eye wrinkle breaks the rules. Allows magic to achieve a defense-defying penetration effect. In addition, Alan also broke the 3 iron laws. Do not repeat the same mantra. Spells with conflicting attributes are prohibited, and the total number of spells must never exceed 5. Once these core rules are violated, the magic will be ineffective, or its power will be greatly reduced due to the limited capacity of his magic core. You can only perform the full exercise once a day due to the context of this era. Records of Babylonian jewelry and wrinkles. It has long been lost in history. There is no literature available for reference, and in the end, he had to figure it out on his own. And I found it incredibly fun. Although I first learned magic just to protect myself, but he was already in it. Next is the time to test the results of 2 months, when he began to chant an ancient mantra. Magic that was once considered useless moments are given a whole new meaning as the spell condenses in the air. The lightning in front of him suddenly froze frame, as if time had been paused. The violent lightning maintained the form of the burst moment. The next spell sounded quietly. Originally, there was a mind ball the size of a basketball. Rapid inward compression at rest finally turned into a bright point of light like a marble. When the decomposed instructions finally fall, the lightning ball suddenly disintegrated. The energies begin to rearrange quickly, build a fine target outline. As he let go of his stamped hands, recite the last wrinkle. A ginseng made entirely of lightning. The sky curtain rises, bright branches solidify into eternal gestures. It was as if someone had struck a bolt of lightning. Frozen frame becomes immortal sculpture. Alan nodded in satisfaction. The order in which the incantations are sung is indeed crucial. The last attempt to break down the front, the effect is far less than this shock. Just then a lifetime of screaming interrupted him. Alan turned around and found Kalia of the Count of Denonia. He was staying with a middle-aged man not far away. Now Kalia's eyes are on him. Even the elegance of a noble has completely collapsed. Is this the legendary origin magic? Why is he here? The middle-aged man beside him was equally dumbfounded. The shocked expression was the same as that of Kalia. Able to master origin magic means caster the strength has reached the level of a 7th order mage. The conversation between the two made Alan momentarily stunned. He actually became a 7th grade mage not long after the 2 men appeared in Count Faraday's drawing room, and this time Kalia visited Count Faraday's house. He had a dual purpose in mind. First and foremost, he clearly holds one in his hand, the trump card that can upend the current pattern but never move. Therefore, he was eager to find out the truth about Alan. As for the second reason, I want to see for myself the rumors, the depth of the mysterious organization under the Earl, to peer into the unfathomable tip of the iceberg. Kalia carefully prepared a test paper. This test paper is the 5th order mage Bianca. This person is obsessed with inhumane competitive experiments, has long been expelled from the orthodox magic world. His strength is beyond doubt a ruthless character who can crush an entire army with his bare hands. By anchor has always been above and below, even in the face of the Genonia family, who sponsored him, never let go. But at this moment, the expression on his face was like no other. That's the power that goes deep into the bone marrow. Did you just witness? It's really the legendary origin magic. Just then a calm voice interrupted Kalia's churning thoughts. So when did the Count of Denonia visit? Alan's eyes were still indifferent, that line of sight slowly sweeping past Zhong Li's by ankle and Kalia, as if everything in front of him had nothing to do with him. Kalia quickly subdued his mental illness and apologized. Lord Faraday, I took the liberty. I'm too eager to meet you. That led to this faux pas gap. After a brief silence, Alan's voice sounded again without remorse. But one thing must be clarified. What I just did was not origin magic. My magic level is pretty average, full of calculations, is also the 2nd order level. The mage may have noticed the magic itself has no practical effect. I specifically explained it's because it can't be used for defense. It's impossible to attack. But these words fell into the ears of the two, but the taste is completely changed. That expressionless expression, more like a silent warning. What I saw and heard today must be completely rotten in the stomach. It's like watching a game. Normal low-level spell demonstration. Bianco, you are trembling and speak first. I am very sorry, my lord. It's an illusion that I had for a while. Kalia's pupils suddenly constricted. This is his life story. The first time I heard it, this haughty mage uses gag. Alan nodded in satisfaction. Now that the misunderstanding has been cleared up, so what is the real purpose of the visit? Kalia was caught off guard this season. He hurriedly calmed his mind and gave an answer. Just passing by, happens to be doing business nearby, thinking of the Count. The people took the liberty to visit. Then Alan asked if there were any other keys. Kalia hurriedly shook his head in denial. Alan stared at him for a moment and then spoke slowly. Regretfully, I'm busy with business. I'm afraid I don't have more time to talk to the two of you in detail. So Kalia got up immediately. It doesn't matter. I was just dropping by. Thank you for taking the time to receive. I will stop harassing. Parting time. Alan stopped him. If you need a partner to talk to, why don't you pay a visit to the Duke of Ardea? In my opinion, the two personalities may be very compatible. Kalia looked at the other's indifferent smile. I just feel my throat dry since you suggest, so I will go to meet the Duke. The carriage carrying Miss Denonia slowly drove away. Alan's confused voice blew in the wind. The notorious family in the West. Why did he suddenly come to the door? Alan is also puzzled. After all, he couldn't guess Kalia's true intentions at all. If I knew this earlier, I shouldn't have shown that magic. It drew unwanted attention. Just hope it doesn't spread that he is abusing rumors of origin magic. This place, but it's a dangerous dark event. Those outlaws who go mad with envy when they see the strong, they're everywhere. But the other party should have understood his last hint, right? Although the Duke of Ardea was recommended, but these two families are notoriously bitter rivals. Miss Denonia will surely visit that as long as you don't come to him again. Everything will be fine, the carriage is moving smoothly. At the moment Kalia in the carriage asked again, is the magic used by Count Faraday really of origin? Bianco changed his routine and did not answer immediately. That's not origin magic. Kalia was even more confused. Then why did you react like that just now? Facing Kalia's questioning, he took a deep breath. Trying to calm down the shock inside. Origin is the ultimate state of all French pursuits, like a supreme painting that can be swayed at will. Only grand magi who reach level 7 or above to be eligible for this canvas. Describe your own laws. But Count Faraday's magic is another matter. Strictly speaking, his magic, it's literally tearing the whole canvas apart. Simple summary, he is twisting the underlying rules that are supposed to last forever. Bianco suddenly lowered his voice. He froze, framed the violent thunder in midair. He smashed the magic circle he built with his own hands. Just those fragmented lines can continue to work, and here's what's even more outrageous. The man inside shows a magician who goes against common sense. The ancient lines emerging in the depths of his red pupils clearly refers to a supreme being that has been forgotten by history. Think of this. Bianco pushes the magic hard, forcibly cut off the deeper thoughts. I feel like my sanity is about to collapse. He has gone deep, studied sports knowledge from those forgotten times, and even continue to explore the truth. How dangerous would that be? The only advice he can give now, just don't make an enemy of Count Faraday. Never take up his opposite side. Kalia at the moment can only show a bitter smile. The way Alan looked at him, the face with no mood swings, those bottomless eyes, there is no way to speculate on any of his true thoughts. Suddenly, he remembered the parting words. He finally realized, he has become one wife at the mercy of the chessboard. The timeline is jumping fast in the blink of an eye. It has been 5 months later today. It's the second year that the children leave the orphanage. Remembrance Day. At this time, Alan has been able to handle various affairs of Earl Ridge skillfully. He is reviewing official documents while asking Evan, is there any latest news for the children? Evan obviously froze for a moment because there is no news from Udia. There's some wind here in Genonia. I heard that the Count of Denonia's house forged an alliance with the Duke of Ardia's family. Alan was taken aback by the news. The two dark giants of the future in the script, they join forces. Evan gave a positive answer, although it is a secret agreement reached in the underworld. The outside world has no way of knowing, but the covenant between the two parties discriminates. But Alan was already panicking. He has clearly guided those original teams went down another path, but now I have to face the outrageous alliance of the two dark forces. Is the kingdom of Astria? Is it really going to end prematurely? At this time he suddenly remembered what he had done to Kalia a few months ago. Could it be because of what he said? That led to this alliance, but soon he shook his head and rejected the idea. Kalia is arrogant and indifferent. Loria also continued inherited the character of the Duke of Ardia. How can two people sit together like this? Presumably it won't be long before this alliance disintegrates on its own, but just to be on the safe side Alan still decided to write them a letter to the Count of Kalia. If my previous words and deeds seems too direct and indifferent again, I apologize. The reason for this is that I am not very good at expressing myself. Hope this doesn't let you. I feel like I'm making excuses for myself. Finish writing this letter. Alan asked Evan to send it out immediately. Then his eyes fell on the table on the blurred letter. He can't help but start to worry about the current situation of Layden and Shualong, since Yusha mentioned in his letter after they have arrived at their destination safely. I never received any follow-up messages again. Shouldn't it have paved the wilderness? If he finds the one I hinted at in my letter spirit, he deserves to grow into the top of the warriors. Understanding Baba Yaga, the true essence of the Golden Clan in the game settings. This equipment provides a 20% critical hit rate bonus if obtained by the possessor of the Sin of Arrogance. Not only will they not degenerate into villains, instead he can become a great wolf hero. This is indeed what the equipment description says. Alan revealed to him the secrets, the location of the treasure. It was originally intended as an emergency fund reserve. I hope he can rely on your own talent. Survives alone, so he should be fine. Right. Even though it was a nation of militant warriors, but with the power of those gloves, it shouldn't be a problem to penetrate that territory. Eyes turned to the south side of the desert colony, the deepest part of a dark cave. With the rustling footsteps, a young girl emerged from the darkness. Choking, his once short hair now drops to his waist, although exhausted, but he finally passed all the trials. That golden claw full set, it was the gift of the great blue moon that bestowed upon him. He thought about the Golden Clan. The essence of a legend is just nonsense, but after all this he realized it wasn't a fairy tale. When they were young, their mother told them the tribes they belonged to, but the King of Longevity Golden Sect, direct descendants of the clan, it is the continuation of the bloodline of all subject kings. That sword is a tribal relic that has been passed down for hundreds of years. It is a legendary quality assurance. He gives power and authority to tribes. Today's snow waves have realized the true meaning and passed all the tests of the inner world. Shualong knows in his heart he couldn't have done it all by himself. All because of the great blue moon. The blue moon both removed him from the ice, the benefactor rescued from the death experiment, and gave him the gift of a black dragon that killed his parents. The existence of vengeance, this kindness he must repay. He remembered blue moon's instructions when parting. Even in stupidity, he also understood what the Lord was planning. Not a mere duelist title between thoughts. Shualang's eyes naturally fell on the full set, the god who can awaken the bloodline power of the Golden Clan. The machine gazes at the full set of moments. He finally understood Blue Moon's true intentions. Become a famous dueling history. Summon the Golden Clan immigrants scattered around the world. Revive ancient glory. Then kill the damn black dragon. The moment the snow waves step out of the cave, a bright moon hangs high in the night sky. The cold radiance of the blue moon pouring down dye the whole desert blue. It's all about serving that Lord. He uttered this oath that had been integrated into his bones 500 years ago. With a great gift, the Golden Clan that reigns over all tribes under the guidance of the blue moon. It will rise again. The day after Kalia's visit, Evan got crucial information from the Union. It's all about what snow waves are doing in the desert colonies. The guy was doing well in the colonies, even earned a golden flash, the resounding name of Light. The title stunned Alan for an instant. A strong sense of sight is coming. Must have heard of it somewhere if he's okay. That's the best news. Elvin nodded in agreement. I heard about the income and livelihood of the dancers over there, but even the local nobles are jealous. Then Alan asked about Harold Charlotte, the one who went to La Texas has not been heard from since. Alan can't give a definite answer to this either, although he has some clues in his hand, but the authenticity needs to be further verified. Can't count for now. Then Alan threw out his plan. He is ready to leave for the magic tower. This sentence made Alan look at the young master directly on the spot. This driving itinerary has been decided. Right. And Alan said yes. And this trip may take a lot of time. It is estimated that it will take a whole month. This is often not light on a Vengeance. As far as he knows, a week's journey from Earl's Ridge to the Green Tower is enough. Alan is not going to the Green Tower, but farther away. Lanta. Evan sighed when he heard that if the target is there, it does take a long time to go back and forth, but Alan was full of doubts. Why do you have to run all the way to Lanta? It's not in Caliban. And Labyrinth City. After finishing the conversation with Elvin, he started to prepare for the trip. To adapt the thought of being bumped in a wagon for 3 weeks, Alan collapsed on the sofa. But in order to solve the core problem of self-sharpening, he has to go on this long trip. Think of Lanta. Alan's memory was suddenly lit up. The Labyrinth City next to Lanta in his gaming era. It was a grand festival for swiping dungeons. The labyrinth contains countless opportunities despite the influx of players, but no one can really reach the bottom. He was biased against a post. It is mentioned that there are open players who break through to the 150th floor. There seems to be even more unfathomable space below. The more you explore, the experience points you can gain at the lower level, and treasures are more outrageous. The reality and the game settings are almost the same. Ancient props and artworks continue to be unearthed. This is also where he turned Rena. The reason for sending it to Raltania make him a Magic Island appraiser, but looking back now, is the gift for Rena too thin? Compared to the gifts received by the other 5 original sins, Leoni's is just a tool to assist in identification. If he feels it's not enough in the future, just give him some extra knowledge. On the other hand, you come to the Labyrinth City of Lartania. This is a city that is not bound by the laws of any kingdom, a city of freedom for explorers and mercenaries. Walk through a busy shopping district. In a remote corner to the south there is an identification spectrum of a house named Melder. Although the location is inconspicuous, but there is still a steady stream of daily door-to-door customers. Most of them are ruthless people from the depths of the labyrinth, and the explorer licking blood, even foreign aristocrats, and the Lord of Raltania himself. This is a young girl wearing a mask helping the Lord identify the items he brought. It's a magical device that creates fire. There are also ancient inscriptions on the surface. The leader/follower mask girl takes the item back. Give a hearty laugh. Because of the artifacts with inscriptions, the effect will be multiplied like this object. Just inject a little magic, it can stay lit for a long time. After a few simple pleasantries, the Lord left satisfied. After taking the Lord, the girl slowly took off her mask. Lena, under the mask, exhaled softly. Lena can not only identify ancient relics sent by the nobles, it can also add engraving for special utensils. But this talent is not a gift and is true ability through the ancient library inside. Understand the essence of all things, or identify those that can carry special artifacts with mysterious branding. As for the omnipotence of Shakyamuni's engraving the gift of the great blue moon. When Lena pushed open the side door of the office, a gold suspended in the air. Sudden eye movement. The pupil of blue light makes a subtle sound like a machine running. The progress bar above the eyeball shows 247. Rena stared at the floating window. At first he was like the other original sins, can't figure it out. Why did the great moon send him to Nigong City? And gave him the identity of an appraiser, although he already knew. I am a forgotten survivor of the age of outer gods. Although vaguely aware all arrangements are made to deal with dark things, but he still couldn't figure out the connection between the tasks after all. He owns the ancient library, knows better than anyone these dark things. What a terrifying power, but what does killing darkness have to do with identifying cultural relics? Until he fully realized the gift of the great blue moon, everything suddenly opened up. Wanderers, I can quickly identify items below. A certain amount of magic power can be used as an auxiliary, but Linai, who is in charge of the library, instantly see through the essence. It's an extraordinary eyeball. As he unseals the layers, it doesn't even have a record in its own library. The original globular eyeballs take on their true form, awakening to new abilities. That is the art of inscription engraving, but the progress bar above the eyeball also made him understand this artifact needs constant traps with a deliberate identification just obtained on the Linai online. Progress bar jumps from 247 to 248 at first. Rena didn't know how to upgrade him. It took a series of experiments to fully understand eyes only for special patterns in high-level relics. Produce a reaction, otherwise the accumulated power will dissipate. Correctly identify all relics and screened out high-level sacrifices that can be used as engraving carriers. This product is only in ancient times, only in the library can he do it. Also here he can continue to absorb the protective power of killing black wolves. Rena's careful touch is suspended. The wanderer's eye in the sky, he was whispering to himself. Everything is moving according to the will of the great moon and Rena, an elusive glimmer in the eye. Fast forward to 3 weeks later. Alan arrived in Lanta as scheduled, but he didn't see him here. Lord Penacresia is a 6th grade wizard, however. The first time he saw Alan's master and servant, unabashed impatience was written all over his face. His attitude puzzled Alan, although at the beginning of the game he has not yet ascended to the position of the Lord of the Magic Tower, but it won't be long. He will be promoted to a 7th order mage, become a peerless genius recognized by the Magic Tower in this fantasy world. In addition to having a powerful battle, they have a monopoly on scarce resources. Therefore, its status is sufficient to rival that of the nobility. Hello. My name is Alan Faraday. As previously communicated, this visit is to discuss something about Shermen. I can eliminate the stone door here. Alan's words Pernia stopped all the animals in an instant. Shermen is under magic cracks in the land of use. It connects to an unknown subspace, will cause various abnormal phenomena, and cause serious erosion to the human body. Pain. His eyes turned sharply to Alan. He secretly activated identification magic, but a moment later he showed no secret of his disappointment. He waved at the two of them and said, Please come back, I haven't heard your reply yet. Alan's words made Pena even more impatient. Do you want to eliminate Sherman? And then seize the treasure inside? You think with this purpose how many people came to me? Then Alan spoke again. Just take me to the stone gate, let you kiss immediately. I witness Pena Dissonanen, you creep up on the dead scum of the throne. Now the fig leaf is about to be lifted. I can understand why the dog jumps over the wall, but don't come to me. A strong magic vortex exploded from all over Pena. Alan and Evan were directly intimidated by the momentum. Alan also realized this seemingly unworldly woman in fact. He knows all kinds of reverse patterns in the aristocratic circle like the back of his hand. Alan cautioned carefully with his level of magic. I'm afraid it's easy to split a person in half, but Alan did not choose to back down. If I can't get rid of the teachers, then I am willing to offer up all my wealth and can make a magical vow. Just take up a little of your time now. That sounds like a pretty good deal. Heard this, Pena fell into a brief silence. Heading to Pena on Sherman Road. Remind Alan again, if you can't eliminate the sect, then all the Faraday family property will belong to Lanta, and Alan responded very firmly. That would never happen. Looking at the man who pushed the door in, Pena suddenly remembered anecdotal rumors about the young count. Is it the product of the Earl's dark infighting? Still sitting on the trust of the fisherman's power compared to the former, Pena is more inclined to believe he is the latter. Pena sees Alan is only at the level of second-order magic, although the perception ability is not bad, but the magic core capacity is too small. I'm afraid the future will stop there. Alan quickly entered the stone gate. The stone gate is also a difficult problem for Lanta so far. No one has succeeded in shutting it down. So Pena doesn't believe it at all. This man in front of him is only a second-order strength if you can't do anything. Get out now. When he saw Alan start to excel, a trace of surprise flashed across Pena's face as he gestured in the ancient books of magic. This is called primitive magic, but that only exists in legend. In his opinion, one who has not even systematically learned formal magic, only according to ancient books. The guy who fiddles with primitive magic gestures. It is impossible to close the door. When Alan whispered the wrinkles, Pena's angry lips suddenly froze. It's as if the whole world has been paused. Pena barely blows the eye of truth with her mind as his eyes swept over Alan. A strange pattern appeared above, as the eyes like black holes slowly opened. It was a pupil with a star-red halo, like a giant cold, overlooking everything below. Alan's origin magic has been cast. The terrified Pena forcibly pushed the magic, activated the magic eye. The standard equipment of a sixth-order mage, it can claim to be able to spy on the truth of all things, but this time the scene of Mo Yan's feedback coming back, but it made Pena completely fierce. He can see clearly, but completely unable to understand the essence of what exists in front of you. Just one key piece of information. The moment when he is about to be misty, Pernia's survival instinct sounds the sharpest alarm. The surging magic in his body was forcibly cut off, and I took that idea that was going to happen. Crushed in my mind, the only thing he understands at the moment is the person behind Alan. It's a taboo he can't even think about. If you say half a word wrong, he has no doubt you will be instantly erased from this world. Immediately after the shadow in the sky has come to him, one finger silently pressed against his trembling lips. The warning goes without saying. Pena blinked wildly in fright when the red eyes opened and closed for the last time. The huge magic array that enveloped the audience shattered. It's finally over. Pena was taken aback by Alan's movements. Actually, it's easy for him to close this broken door. You only need the corresponding props and specific techniques. But considering that he will have to get the reward in the future, Alan just rubbed a project. A decent large-scale magic dedicated to Pena, but now Pena's condition made him nervous. Why is Pena's arrogance gone? Could it be that he really saw through my details? Just as I was contemplating a direct showdown, Pena was the first to speak. I'm going to keep this secret under magic. I won't say a word. Even if I die, don't look at my usual open mouth. In fact, my mouth is very tight. I looked at this person in front of me with a blank face. Suddenly used Jingyu, the lady who is still shaking all over. Which song is this? The screen changes. Alan returned to the hall. Now that the target has been reached, I don't want to stay here for a second longer. However, just as he turned around and was about to flee, Pena stopped Alan again. This is the top level. I personally prepared mana recovery potion. Please be sure to accept it. Alan took the bottle of flashing cham Blu-ray potion. The value of this thing enough to replace a mansion in the central city. There was an extremely unnatural ingratitude on his face. Smile at you. Are you still satisfied? Alan couldn't figure it out. Why did Pena suddenly give a big gift? And he faltered. Can't say why. Not only repeatedly promised to be tight-lipped, he even took a magical oath on the spot. Isn't it just a way to close the door? As for being so solemn, shouldn't it be the same as the last Genonia? Miss, what happened? Misunderstanding, and Alan was just about to say something. The magic around me suddenly rioted. A huge contract law is underway beneath our feet. Then light up the chains of a few beams of light. Connect him to Pena. This is a magical oath that cannot be broken. Look at Pena's expression. Alan knows he won't listen to any explanation now. Finally, I brought 5 precious potions and mission rewards straight away from Rantama. Alan in the car couldn't help but look at the bracelet curiously. This thing doesn't look good, like a bargain at a roadside stall. Is he really useful? I heard Alan give him a positive look. This may not be worth mentioning to high-level mages, but for me, it's a celibate in need. The gemstone on the bracelet can automatically absorb, and the magic of dissociation in the storage environment, although the reserves cannot meet those artifacts, but compared to my own pathetic magic core, too many walls. When I think of the total amount of magic power I have, Alan felt a headache. You still have to rely on foreign affairs to supplement the blue bar, but my goal was to explore magic and protect myself rather than fighting with people. That's enough for now, and Alan was comforting himself. After finishing his inner activity, he looked out the window. Why did Pena's attitude change 180 degrees? What did he understand? I emphasize again and again, I'm just an ordinary second-order mage. It's just mind-boggling. Is it really the same script as Kalia? But it's not a big problem. Anyway, in the future, I will be with this eldest lady. There should be no more intersection. Alan relaxed and leaned against the carriage, enjoying the warmth of a spring afternoon, and on the other side, The Duke of Ardia Council Chamber. Two women are looking at each other across the table. They greeted each other as real-world friends. This scene is extremely inappropriate according to logic after all. Loria is already the official Duke of the seat and Kalia is just a lady of the Count's house, but they're both working for the same guy. Those worldly positions, the gap becomes irrelevant. Since Kalia got the hint from Alan, he took the initiative to contact Loria until this meeting confirmed after the two parties communicated echoes of each other belonging to Count Faraday, although I don't know the specific intention of Alan, but he made it clear that the two formed an alliance in the face of absolute strength and common goals. The relationship between Genonia and Ardia has developed rapidly. Zoom in. Is there anything important about the sudden visit today? The official reading meeting shouldn't be until next week. Facing Loria's inquiry, Kalia is careful. Take a secret letter from your arms. The Count. On the grounds of my last visit, he specially wrote this letter to me. Loria took the letter and read it carefully. If you are not familiar with the style of Count Faraday, this letter looks like a letter. Ordinary greetings and apologies. The content is in addition to simple pleasantries. It's just gossip among the nobles. Kalia couldn't accurately guess his body and mind. That's why I came to discuss with Loria. This is the fastest way to find out the Earl's true intentions. Some nobles have complained to me before. The letter says, so there are not many nobles who get along with me. The Kenyan Baron is a die-hard aristocrat, and Malin the Count of Tino was the central figure of the king's faction. Viscount Veranda also belongs to the king faction. As for the Duke of Pardivan, he was also a pillar of the aristocracy, and the simple answer is this. Be it aristocrats or kings, the Count dislikes it all. Get rid of this dangerous thought altogether. It flashed through their minds at the same time, but this idea is obviously too shocking, so another more feasible solution naturally emerged to overthrow the old aristocratic system, create a new order. Voice falls. The room fell into a brief silence. Loria looked up, issued a slight sigh. I never understood why Alan left him alive, but if that's what Alan's up to, shocking event, then everything makes sense. With the addition of the overlord of the Western Gene dynasty, the scales of victory have begun to tip in their favor. The two immediately began to plan the next step. A few days later, when Lord Lantata returns, he got it from Pena. Learned the news that the stone gate was closed. The tower owner is very curious. What did Count Faraday do? Pena can only make up vague reasons, just a blueprint drawn by imagination, start going crazy on its own, out of control. And on the other side in the forest where the sun sets and the temperature plummets, Alan is happily nibbling on a roasted sweet potato now. He just wants to hurry back to Earl's court because Judea's reply is almost due. The eyes turn to the Holy Kingdom at the same moment. Rosario in front of the Cylonian muse, helping a white-haired brother and daughter, his long blood-like hair make the pure white idols a little dim. Selam. Lord of Lanta, the front foot just stepped into the gate of Lanta. A premonition that something was wrong came directly to my mind. A disciple who bickers every time he sees him. The mirror image of Pena is now emptied of its soul, sitting quietly at the table. Flipping through the book, this scene will directly disrupt. Selam. What a strange day it is. The genius girl actually changed her temper, you know? Pena has been the ceiling of attention since childhood. That bone pride can simply soar to the sky. It stands to reason the new Count Faraday should have been scared by him long ago, although Pena is usually arrogant like a peacock, but Selam never intended to correct him after all. For a magician, arrogance is a deadly poison, but this girl who studies magicians is more humble than anyone else. Selam. Psychological menching, waiting for the day when the child breaks through the seventh order. Magician, the magic of time will naturally smooth all edges and corners, because when you really touch the threshold of the seventh step you will also find the strength you have been searching for. Not even dust in the face of eternal truth. So Pena's current state is particularly strange. Selam scratched his hair in confusion. Could it be that I have been away too long on this trip to the north? Was that too hard for you? Pena looked up. Wronged Baba's delusion, master. This is Faraday. Jew's visit was completely dragged out. I mean, Count Faraday closed the door with his own hands. Pena nodded vigorously, although the Count closed the passage but locked our mouths with a magic oath. We cannot disclose specific details. Pena nodded weakly again. The part that can be said is already word for word. The untold secrets are completely sealed by magic. Look at him, wilting like never before. Selam suddenly laughed out loud. Lapinia's talent magic. You can't understand. I'm afraid there is only the legendary origin magic message about Faraday. Selam has heard of it. The room says he's a ruthless character who rises to power by getting rid of his brother. Figure out the Selam on this floor. The corner of the mouth raised a playful arc. He told the Count of the small country there was unprecedented interest. Soon a month passed since Alan returned from Lanta with the blessing of obtaining the deity bracelet. He can release magic steadily 3 to 4 times a day, and today, he figured out a new rule. The exact same spell cannot have a stacking effect, but if you use a spell with a similar structure instead, but it can achieve a nearly superimposed power increase. Alan quickly jot down this crucial information in a notebook. To achieve spell stacking every time there is magic seems to require a specific pre-chant. He guessed. I'm afraid there are complex permutations involved behind it. Just then the birth of Evan behind him interrupted his thoughts. Lord Count, your magic power is getting more and more exaggerated. Alan sighed softly. Turn around and face him. Second order magic can never have such destructive power. It's a completely different concept than it was a few months ago. Looking forward along the lines of the two, there was a huge crater on the ground. What Alan did this time was just a second order gravity agency. Even with full output, the case says it can't crush hard rock formations either, but he clearly felt that the magic had undergone a qualitative change. Could this be your own illusion? If you have to find a reason for the surge in power, the problem is definitely no longer proficiency or the spell itself. The improvement of magic proficiency usually means more precise control, and the spell more like a switch that changes the nature of magic. These few months Alan frantically studies the spell sequence of gravity. Recently, several sets of similar spells have been cross-tested. Finally find a set that fits the best. The power of magic has also steadily increased. Alan scratched his head in confusion. There's no reason for power to suddenly take a leap. I guess it's just that I'm in a very good state today. Alan saw that there was no definite answer. Switch topics. Naturally, this is a letter from Tia. Alan ended his research on magic and walked to the office. Anyway, the 3 spellcasting opportunities today have been exhausted. He knew magic, it doesn't get stronger for no reason. Is it compensation for the curse? Curses are a unique competitive ritual in the East, offering strength by sacrificing oneself or others. Those who bear the curse will lose something as a price, but Alan has not intersected with that force recently. Is it the power of faith at work? This idea was quickly rejected by him. Alan is just a down-and-out Earl of Remote Bow. That doesn't make any sense. So he eventually attributed the reason why the weather is indeed exceptionally sunny today. At the same time, in the Holy Kingdom of Rosario, this tree is dedicated to the muse symbolized by the moon Hironia. In the quiet halls of the host courtyard, a nun is praying silently in front of the statue. Subsequently, a knight in white armor quietly came behind him. Good evening, sister. The nun recalls a gentle smile. May the light of muse always shine upon you, Mr. Locke. Is everything going well? Logically speaking, an unordained low-ranking nun, the status should be below the knight, but between Locke and the nuns there's no hierarchy. Trust your service. I rescued 8 children in an eastern village. A total of 25 lives were extended. This is the grace of muse. Don't rely on the day-to-day future of the nuns. Pray that Judea will bow his head and bow back to the knight. You are too modest. It is clear that you swung your sword to cut off the disaster. Locke looked incredibly determined. The body under the armor tightened slightly. The rescue was indeed done by me, but I'm not lost in the dark to guide the way. It's sister and I. That's 20 years. Locke felt no divine power at all. He will never forget the dusk of despair that almost gave up. However, just as hope was completely extinguished, a nun appeared before his eyes like moonlight. If you crave power so much, why not try to believe in the moon itself? At first, Locke was completely puzzled. Muse of faith Hieronia, what is the difference between directly believing in the moon? But he was cornered. I can only place all my faith in the bright moon of Niluan. He prayed like this for days and nights. Locke, who hasn't received a response in 20 years, one night sensing divine power for the first time, also one to become a saint. Qualifications for a paladin, but there was no joy in Locke's heart at the time, only to yourself whether to embark on the deep path of righteousness. Fear is the source of his power, not a gift from Muse Hieronia. It is the moon itself that turns to faith. However, all the light that relies on divine power is no to those magic tools approved by the gods. Right now it's shining pure. In his hands, silence justifies this power. When he finally mustered up the courage, when asked why the nun asked him to change his surname to Moon, Euthia gives his answer, which is called faith. Although derived from intangible beliefs, but it takes a long time to build. You draw strength from what's there. It was easier after all. Because the moon is always above us. After hearing this, Locke's doubts suddenly dissipated. The muse of Helonia is the embodiment of the moon for the self, full of suspicion for the nun, who led him to touch the divine light. Locke felt endless gratitude. At the same time, Yusha whispered, if you want to express your gratitude, may you pray with me. Locke heard the words, and put his hand on his chest. It's my pleasure. See Locke nodding in English. There was a smile on Yusha's lips. Now is the time to pray. Everyone has gathered here. He pushed open the heavy wooden door of the church. It was filled with silent prayers. The crowd was lost in devout meditation. Didn't make a sound. Yusha stepped onto the podium through the crowd. So let's begin tonight's prayer. There was a glimmer of light in his crimson eyes, the clear and pleasant color revealed by the painted windows. Softly read the island script to pay tribute to the great blue moon. Alan just finished reading the letter from Tia. He placed the letter gently on the table. Fall into a brief meditation. The words in the letter still fill the daily life, the triviality and warmth of look. The lives of the 5 great evils are smooth and peaceful. That in itself is great news. But in Alan's chest, but I can't help but sigh because there's nothing in sex except Judea's envelope. No more words from other children. The silence of the phrase, it made him feel lonely. But on second thought, he found a reason for his loss. After all, he never stepped into the gate of the orphanage. Fate with those 5 children, it also begins with covert guidance for their bright and new life. Alan may just be a source. The magic fire provided crucial assistance. The shadow uncle, who quietly exited the original goal, has clearly been brilliantly achieved. Successful guidance, 5 evils to avoid the fate of destroying the world. This achievement enough to brighten the career of any traveler he shouldn't have. It's time to stop asking for emotional rewards. But the human heart is made of flesh and blood, rather than a mental machine. That subtle sense of loss, silent and cautious like business. But when he looked, when refocusing on Judea's handwriting, a solid warm current in an instant. All meaning was lost. The letters delivered by the eldest daughter on time, every month, never delayed. It seemed to have become a constant throughout his life. Invariant coordinates raised 5 children in the end. For people were never heard from. Only the eldest daughter always remembers and respond to this nurturing grace. A stark contrast. It was such a relief to Alan. Sure enough, the sweetest and most reliable person will always be Judea. He was about to immerse himself in this little padded jacket in his arms. Elvin is like a gust of wind rushed into the room. Alan, under this sudden movement, almost bounced off the chair. It turns out that Elvin from the Intelligence Union. There was explosive news. It's all about the recent movements of those kids. Some people's information, you don't even need to collect it. Because of their deeds, it has spread like wildfire, especially the legendary battle between Deus and Snow Wave. The results came first. It's about the progress of the gold source of that guy Shualong. He is challenging the legend and the yum of trials required to exist in Baba Yaga. A glorious 32-game winning streak in one go. This news, there was a violent earthquake in Alan's pupils. He hastily asked Colony what is the highest winning streak in the arena. Alan, then an eye-catching number, broke out the record holder to date. It's the legendary Lion King. He has a mythical record of 41 undefeated games. The name is like a key, instantly opened Alan's dusty memories. This is what he used to do when he was playing games. The temporary partner who joined the team halfway through. A strong and outrageous character, like an official plug-in Colony. The huge city of Arena, mixed fish and dragons. The surface is rife with chaos and violence. Underwater, hidden countless unfathomable peerless powerhouses. The height set by the Western Kingdom's special reliance on top fighters. It is precisely because of its terrifying civilian combat power reserve periphery. Other kingdoms did not dare to purge it at all. Alan never expected the growth rate of snow waves is so harmful so soon. Touched the legendary ceiling of combat power. Then Evan began to report on the latest achievements of the Knights of Divas. According to the heartwarming description, the Japanese knights he commanded just completed an epic crusade, successfully killed one of the 8 barbarian chiefs Kurga in the snowfields. You know, the Barbarian Wars. The scholar has undergone an ancient and strange transformation, already reborn, become a fighting monster beyond human comprehension, even if Evan doesn't make too much of it, and explain that Alan is also well aware of the 8 major, the terrifying meaning of the Sheik. He is already in the game. I've seen firsthand their ridiculous power, and what made Alan feel even more chills on his back, the one who can be a god, ultimate being of the descent vessel. Once the monster is fully awakened and get the complete divine revolution, its power enough to face the 5 captains who protect the world counterbalance. Alan couldn't help but feel a pang of happiness at the moment. Fortunately, I don't have to face that directly. Out of specification terror exists because will only follow 5. The advent of the great sin. Now Divas can kill the troublesome chief. His death, now facing the kingdom's first swordsman. Craneheart here. There was even an idea in Alan's mind. Is it time to go and see for yourself this young Z who has risen? Then Alan mentioned being in the maze offensive experience in the city. It is said that the kid has mastered black enhancement engraving technology, but what Alan is most concerned about and most apprehensive about at the moment, still news from Sidon. Did that kid really go down that path? Has it become one piece? Alan's next words seemed like a bolt of thunder. Know that outside the coast of Lagos's, inside Hungary, the 7 islands of Hihi, that sea, there are 7 powerful pirate overlords, and Shidon has succeeded. Ruled the largest of the first islands, became that sea the unmistakable rule, and the captain. The impact of this news is so strong, so much so that Alan's legs went soft. He slumped onto the floor. He always felt like he had seen this bizarre plot somewhere before, just like the one that used to be popular jokes on the whole network. A poor child who has been supported by a charity for 8 years and finally turned into a pirate leader off the coast of Somalia when he sent Shidon to Lagos's. This is not how we envision this magical world unfolding. Shidon, as a descendant of the Sea God clan with exceptional sensory talent in water, should have an absolute advantage like a duck to water. Alan has carefully planned the perfect career path for him. Is a treasure hunter specialized in salvaging slumbers in Lagos's rare ancient treasures in the endless deep sea. For this, Alan also specially prepared the legendary gift of enhanced perception as a parting gift. Realistic, but it caught him off guard. Hitting that kid didn't just make him a pirate more directly to the top of the Shimbukai to become the strongest overlord. Shocked as for Alan, a key question suddenly flashed through my mind. How did Shidon get rid of the first group of party members? Captain's monster, those pirate leaders in their own waters, almost synonymous with invincibility, but he is very a reasonable explanation was quickly deduced. I'm afraid it's Shidon from the underwater ruins, got some skydifying lazy characters after all. Alan himself, in order to collect that sea area specific cultural relics produced, I used to sleep in the Hunt for Hunters game. The liver exploded for 3 days, so he relied on artifact level equipment to take advantage of the situation to complete the counterattack and capture the captain's position in the logical framework of this world is a completely possible operation. Alan raised his hand wearily, gently pressed the corners of the swollen eyes with your fingertips. He should have known things don't always go as planned. Now he is more like a future for children. Heartbroken old father. Let's take a look. Turning to the magnificent mobile maritime city Radsa City, it was also the Duchy of Korkia. The actual heart. In front of it, in that vast and dangerous sea, there are 7 pirates running free. Sin Paradise of Carnival, one of the largest parks in the first islands, just went through a full force change. Former ruler Red Slayer, Arclyde, the one who sacrificed cruelly the legendary pirate who obtained the blessing of the Sea Emperor, lost to a man under the age of 20. The young man Sidon stands on the commanding heights of the island overlooking the territory under his camp. A complicated expression flashed across his face. Sighed softly because he still can't figure it out. What is the Great Covenant planning? In fact, Shidon never went deep thinking about this mysterious benefactor at first. He only regarded each other as a kind uncle who extends a helping hand. After all, his original destiny slaves who died tragically as biological experiments. Until I met Yusha, I have truly awakened my ability to sleep. Previously participated in the activities of Blue Moon Organization, more just to follow in his footsteps. So when he first received the great offer, when a direct instruction is sent, the heart is full of strong resistance and deeply puzzled, just like the confusion of Shualong He. I don't understand what it means to be a treasure hunter, where even for this order I felt an instinctive revulsion. Because in his heart, carrying too many blood feuds of extreme reckoning. Originally, he and his clan living a peaceful life on a hidden island. The day the Black Thing came, they were massacred inhumanely. He went through a lot of hardships with his parents. I was lucky enough to escape to the mainland. However, a group of ruthless hunters murdered his parents and sold himself. The oath of revenge for slaves, it has long been branded into his bone marrow. In comparison, the job of a treasure hunter appears pale and unintentional. The power bestowed by the Great Moon has nothing to do with his goal of revenge. Despite this, he still chose superficial obedience until he met the noisy and flamboyant pirate ship. He initially thought these noisy guys just an ordinary paradise on the sea, but this group of people actually used the Sea God clan unique control. One of the water power is even more arrogant. This is only after the chosen ones offer sacrifices to the King of Heaven, exclusive blessings to receive. Shidon's blood suddenly froze at that moment. In front of these are the people who killed his parents. They not only committed unforgivable crimes and stole the Sea God, the sacred power passed down from generation to generation, and disguised it as a blessing from the so-called King of Heaven. The true power of the Sea God comes from pious faith, must pass Poseidon, Clyad, an ancient ceremony conducted. Only then can it be officially awarded, and now pirate captains in 7 seas are abusing this power when all the clues are in your head. Connected to the moment of truth, anger and ecstasy exploded in his heart. Although after being rescued, he never mentioned his tragic past in Blue Moon. The Great Moon seems to have already seen everything and silently lay out like a journey. A wordless agreement across time and space. The novice saved this direct revenge for him. Scarlet Route at the end, however. On the far side of the ocean, Bin Laden was also gripped by deep anxiety. Vengeance is within reach. He felt completely powerless. The cold truth is in front of us. He is now no match for the 7 pirate captains at all. Just because those guys stole the power of the sea god has already become a strong person with his current weak strength. How to contend with this group, a terrifying powerhouse who has stepped into the realm of the gods just as despair swallowed him up. The necklace inlaid with a blue moon on the chest bursting into the sky. Without warning, he drilled a well for this great moon. Grace bestowed offer the most to that round of Yulon moon shadow devout prayer. Then a revelation flashed through his mind like lightning. Original, the way to break the game has always been hidden in this gift. He dived into the deep sea without hesitation. The true power of the necklace's concealment is revealed. A legendary treasure called the mana goggles gave Layden a pair that can freeze through the darkness, precisely lock the eyes of all ancient deep sea artifacts and the ancient energy contained in these relics. It is to fill the gap between him and the 7 pirates, the only key to the heavenly sword-like strength gap. It wasn't until this moment that he suddenly realized the great moon has already arranged everything, gave him the identity of an ocean treasure hunter. It's all about paving the way for revenge for Javanna Deception Islands. Now, he completely understands the supreme being for him. It was already beyond grateful sorrow for the great moon. He thought it was just an empty slogan. Now, I really understand. Yusha said this, the weight of time. Now, this sentence has become the blood history of his sacrifice to the blue moon. This is the so-called ultimate loyalty in the blink of an eye. 3 months passed quietly. The leaves of the forest are gradually dyed bright red. Alan is with elven head to the luxurious estate of the Duke of Rottergrave, forced to attend the quadrennial cathedral service despite the reluctance in my heart. But this journey is inescapable. The iron law of Asteria. It is clearly stipulated that all nobles, unless there are special circumstances, you must attend church services every 2 weeks. They were halfway there. The other 2 nobles also joined as agreed, because during the grand celebration mercenaries and robbers often turned nobles as fat prey. It's obviously much safer to travel together, all the way safe during the day. But when night falls, bad things come to you immediately. Those 2 nobles were in front of everyone yelling taunts at Alan on purpose. Your lordship, why did you bring a sidekick when you went out? If you are really poor, you can't open the pot. Can we lend you some money? Alan looked at each other in disbelief. Forget the talk behind your back. This face-to-face output is outrageous. But he quickly figured out the logic behind it. The former Palladio family was all Qing dynasty, controls the entire eastern underworld. Its wealth and meager people are enough to make everyone tremble. But since Alan inherited the Earl's throne, he decided to cut off those black income. What he aspires to is not the underworld, but like ordinary nobles, enjoy a normal life of comfort and wealth. So he gave up all the underground business completely, and the Palladio family therefore lost control of the dark world. The eastern powers then disintegrated, divided up by hungry wolves around them. These greedy wolves once only dared to be outside the Palladio's territory, pick up some debris. Now it has become the winner of carving up Donggu's interests in the past. Nobles feared Alan because of the rumors. He's the one who brought down the Avalon organization. But as the Palladio family faded, all the terrifying rumors about him gradually dissipated. Some even started to say he was sheer shit luck to be an earl. After a long time, this statement has been taken as fact. Alan finally realized that in the eyes of others, I have long since moved from a family that strategizes controller degenerate into an upstart who relies entirely on luck. He had expected to encounter a cold. I didn't expect it to be like this. The humiliation of public punishment. The other party has obvious performance on their face, obviously don't know him. The malice is so strong to make this out of bounds and perverse move. It's all older people. The situation is still like a kindergarten child. Alan looked at their aged faces. I couldn't help but laugh out loud, but then he understood. The 2 nobles, the reason why they came thousands of miles away to ridicule the Count Clare and Edelom, the Jew family, are all victims of that history. The Palladio family was notorious back then, power at its height, a lot of squeezing the surrounding weak forces. These 2 families, it was the worst wave of being bullied. Now they are just putting the backlog of grievances. It's all about Alan, although it wasn't Alan who exploited them back then. It was Io, the eldest son of the Count, but now he holds the title of Count of Palladio. Naturally became the most suitable punching bag for the other party. Have all your gangsters run away? Are you poor enough to borrow money to get by? Alan at the moment, I feel like I have encountered a difficult internet troll. He doesn't want to clash with the other party, get into unnecessary trouble. No need to pay attention to these jumping clowns. He decided to ignore them completely, never fall into such a low-level provocation trap. This is Elvin. Steaming corn from the kitchen, the 2 of them started gnawing like no one else. I have to say, this corn is really sweet. The mockery of the 2 earls seemed to be the background music. It's like they're performing an awkward rap. Grilled corn is delicious when added to the grain. It would be perfect if you could put some butter on it. Over the next few days, this awkward scene continues to play out every night. Claire German Eidolon will come on time to taunt, and Alan still chose to ignore the 2 trolls at the same time. In a completely different place on the bitterly cold northern wilderness, the endless cave ruled by the barbarians. There doesn't seem to be any life here. Only deadly cold hangs over the earth forever in this desolate and cursed land. A mighty warrior has fallen. He lost his precious right arm, also lost his keen right eye, and this is one of the 8 Manchu leaders, the famous Hurkan. After being defeated by a Kali-like knight, he lay quietly in the cold snow, waiting for death to finally come. However, he was dying. But his eyes burned with anger. He cursed those despicable bastards in a low voice. But this anger is not about dying. For the savages, who value battle, to die in battle is a glorious and noble destiny. His anger stems purely from the way he lost. He was ambushed by the Taliban knights. The knight, who claims to desire a court duel, he's just a sinister villain full of lies. He was completely deceived by a false challenge. Now I'm lying in this ice and snow. He couldn't accept his glorious life. It ended in such an unbearable way. The cruel arrangement of fate made him die. Just when he thought his life was coming to an end, an unexpected turnaround suddenly appeared. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. A magnificent voice answered in the sky, "The Son of Blood calls my name, call upon the great Holy Spirit, whom you worship, I will surely grant you the strength you desire." It seems to be inspired by divine power. The frozen Hertan actually regained consciousness. He got up from the snow with great difficulty. "It's like seeing the light in the dark. The great Uterus, allow me to call upon your obedience." The great Supreme with strange sounds in the sky to give memories, the one who should have been in the top 5 funniest Uterus will only wake up, came to this permafrost early at this moment. In that moment, the great God with a creepy smile, "Then I will fulfill all your wishes." The man just opened it up a little bit. Pommet actually penetrated directly through the body of the mutant brother, and at this moment, Alan on the way to the venue for the social gathering, but the attendant state still not broken. Even other families joined the team. The ridicule of those people is still not at all restrained. As a veteran player, don't get caught by these little lures. But the other side of the basic operation, Evan is focused on fishing in the nearby waters. After nightfall, the group decided to camp around and rest. 2 people sitting together enjoying Evan's fresh fish. Alan turned a deaf ear to the taunts the whole time. The 2 mocking guys were dumbfounded. "I never expected to be completely ignored." Then the Zongfa man asked with a frown, "Why haven't the extra escort troops arrived yet?" "I have confirmed the situation with my people." "Look at this posture. That fool only brought 1 entourage. So it seems that the previous rumors are true. We can start the plan, immediately move the follow-up to the underworld. I'm finally going to get through it, the ones that Palacio played around with. The days of looking at his face are over for good. Unload the underworld, those astronomical wealth and supreme power. Finally, it's our turn to taste. Once we have complete control of the underworld, gotta give that guy a good gift. It seems that you are still charming enough. The means are hard enough at that time. He might have to thank us in return. Teach him how to play the oath." Just as the 2 of them imagined the future smiling from ear to ear, a sudden sound interrupted their conversation. The 2 suddenly turned their heads to look. Only in the dark dense red stars are twinkling. It's a bunch of monsters with their eyes fixed on them. Next second, the accompanying knight immediately tensed his nerves and issued a warning shout out to the mages. "Pay attention to light up the vision. First, mages dare not cast lighting spells immediately. The moment the light shines after everyone saw the monster, clearly all look contemptuous. It's just a bunch of goblins, you know." Goblin Ben. "Come and catch a lot of weak chickens in the forest. Monsters can make everyone unexpected. The guards on the perimeter, who are responsible for guarding, it's all been solved. Wait for the light to completely stabilize." When everyone looked carefully at those goblins, totally obsessed. These goblins, it's completely different from what they know, can still manipulate magic. This means that their physical fitness far more than the known goblins. To put a grade on the wall, I didn't wait for everyone to react. This group of mutant goblins, they launched a crazy charge towards the team right in the monster group. The danger that is about to rush to the front of the team moment, a thick rock wall suddenly rose from the ground, directly stopped the goblins' charge. The more the goblins are in midair, didn't have time to break, hit the rock wall hard, fell down in an instant. Monster casualties are directly filled. Then a translucent light appeared out of thin air. Secure a small flock of goblins inside at this time. A mage was full. The face opened in confusion. "In our team, are there any other mages hiding?" "The rock wall of the 3rd ring spell plus the shield of the 2nd ring." "Who is responsible for this wave of operations?" A magnificent voice answered in the sky, "The Son of Blood calls my name, call upon the great Holy Spirit, whom you worship, I will surely grant you the strength you desire." It seems to be inspired by divine power. The frozen Hertan actually regained consciousness. He got up from the snow with great difficulty. "It's like seeing the light in the dark. The great Uterus, allow me to call upon your obedience." The great Supreme with strange sounds in the sky to give memories, the one who should have been in the top 5 funniest Uterus will only wake up, came to this permafrost early at this moment. In that moment, the great God with a creepy smile, "Then I will fulfill all your wishes." The man just opened it up a little bit. Pommet actually penetrated directly through the body of the mutant brother, and at this moment, Alan on the way to the venue for the social gathering, but the attendant state still not broken. Even other families joined the team. The ridicule of those people is still not at all restrained. As a veteran player, don't get caught by these little lures. But the other side of the basic operation, Evan is focused on fishing in the nearby waters. After nightfall, the group decided to camp around and rest. 2 people sitting together enjoying Evan's fresh fish. Alan turned a deaf ear to the taunts the whole time. The 2 mocking guys were dumbfounded. "I never expected to be completely ignored." Then the Zongfa man asked with a frown, "Why haven't the extra escort troops arrived yet?" "I have confirmed the situation with my people." "Look at this posture. That fool only brought 1 entourage. So it seems that the previous rumors are true. We can start the plan, immediately move the follow-up to the underworld. I'm finally going to get through it, the ones that Palacio played around with. The days of looking at his face are over for good. Unload the underworld, those astronomical wealth and supreme power. Finally, it's our turn to taste. Once we have complete control of the underworld, gotta give that guy a good gift. It seems that you are still charming enough. The means are hard enough at that time. He might have to thank us in return. Teach him how to play the oath." Just as the 2 of them imagined the future smiling from ear to ear, a sudden sound interrupted their conversation. The 2 suddenly turned their heads to look. Only in the dark dense red stars are twinkling. It's a bunch of monsters with their eyes fixed on them. Next second, the accompanying knight immediately tensed his nerves and issued a warning shout out to the mages. "Pay attention to light up the vision. First, mages dare not cast lighting spells immediately. The moment the light shines after everyone saw the monster, clearly all look contemptuous. It's just a bunch of goblins, you know." Goblin Ben. "Come and catch a lot of weak chickens in the forest. Monsters can make everyone unexpected. The guards on the perimeter, who are responsible for guarding, it's all been solved. Wait for the light to completely stabilize." When everyone looked carefully at those goblins, totally obsessed. These goblins, it's completely different from what they know, can still manipulate magic. This means that their physical fitness far more than the known goblins. To put a grade on the wall, I didn't wait for everyone to react. This group of mutant goblins, they launched a crazy charge towards the team right in the monster group. The danger that is about to rush to the front of the team moment, a thick rock wall suddenly rose from the ground, directly stopped the goblins' charge. The more the goblins are In midair, didn't have time to break, hit the rock wall hard, fell down. In an instant monster casualties are directly filled, then a translucent light appeared out of thin air, secure a small flock of goblins inside at this time. A mage was full, the face opened in confusion. In our team, are there any other mages hiding? The rock wall of the third ring spell plus the shield of the second ring. Who is responsible for this wave of operations? Just then the corners of Alan's mouth moved gently, whisper out reinforcement. This sound directly shocked everyone present. He turned to look in Alan's direction, then he spat out the word compression, raise your hand. At the same time, arm bell wrapped in light, instantly sawed into a ball, thrown into the air with a ball of light the next second. Elanmont's clenched fist spit out the word vacuum, countless rubble mixed with Goblin's body, form a chaotic attack body, then he slowly opened his palm, speaking softly of returning to the original. I saw the gravel, as if it had life, instantly penetrated through all the bodies of my brother. Finish this wave of monsters. Alan turned his head and shouted to the crowd. Don't stand still. Get ready for battle. After hearing the command, everyone immediately came back to their senses, draw their weapons, fight the remaining monsters. Alan is not idle, either. A slap to the ground, a thick stone pillar suddenly emerged from the ground, another wave of monsters cleared on the other hand. Ellen also took out the power output like crazy in a monster horde. After a night of bloodshed, Alan and his party finally solved all the monsters completely, until the sound of the battle completely fades away. The nobles who hide behind dare to come out, slowly take part in the battle. They are all looking in the same direction at the same moment. Could it be that the wave of god-level operations just now, it was all done by that man named Alan? But no one knew that Alan was still afraid at the moment. I almost explained it here just now. Fortunately, now the number of spells that can be used per day has increased, but only 3 or 4 times from the exhaustion of magic in the middle of the battle. He became the magic of ordinary people after all. After the high-intensity output, just now his magic has completely bottomed out, and Elvin comes over very quickly. Concerned to ask if he is okay, Alan shook his head and said it was okay, but he was thinking that even with Elvin around, the fear of losing your ability to protect yourself, it still makes your scalp tingle. I was still torn before. Do you want to come alone? Now it seems to be acting with the other nobles. That's a wise choice. Subsequently, Alan's eyes fell on a purple stone. A strong unease arose in my heart. Why did the divine advent appear at this time? To know the divine advent, but the hallmark sign of the imminent arrival of the outer gods. Monsters affected by this power, not only will it become more violent, physical fitness will also skyrocket. There may even be some bizarre abilities that defy common sense. This is definitely a clear sign that the outer gods are coming, and the gods only when all 5 deadly sins are revealed after the laws of the world have completely collapsed will come to this land. But now those children have not yet awakened to the 5 deadly sins. Why did the divine advent come early? What's the secret behind this? Alan made up his mind. The next step is to collect relevant information as soon as possible. If we continue on this trend, I'm afraid it won't take long for me to really put it away. 2 days flew by. Alan has finally arrived at the Duchy of Rottergrave. After going through so many hardships in a row, Alan is already exhausted. However, that high-profile social gathering, it's about to begin. And Alan at the moment doesn't care about anything. He just wants to go home and get some sleep. The man just went to a dance. It directly stirred up the political situation of the entire kingdom now. Alan is stepping into the Huali dance. After the meeting, he looked around. Secretly admire. This is the perfect place for a grand banquet. All decorative mirrors are made of pure gold. Elvin whispered back beside him. They just want to show off the dowry. We even move a piece of gold. They probably won't notice either. But there's something wrong with the atmosphere at the moment. An exaggerated admiration suddenly came from Alan's ears. The Duke of Rooter Grey is really capable. Someone on the dance floor said, my little baby, never let me get close, then you have to pay extra attention to your health. Alan looked at the nobles who were talking. I wonder if I should try to fit in with them, but he had no intention of doing that. Just then a voice suddenly reached his ears. The content of the voice made his expression freeze for an instant. The 2 nobles approached with smiles on their faces. Monsignor Palacio, could you please chat with us? This is the finest meat produced in our territory. What about a famous school? We would also like to provide some support for your territory. What do you think? Alan was confused. What was their attitude? An earth-shaking transformation took place. The 2 misunderstood the meaning of Alan's silence. I was shaking with fear. We really shouldn't have provoked him. Go back in time to 1 day ago. The goblin battle has just ended. After the 2 witnessed Alan's power, terrified, one of them asked in a trembling voice, did you see it all? It's magic. They rushed to find Baron Allman. Please lend us your mage. What is the Baron difference? The 2 of them hurriedly explained that we had an urgent matter to ask for. Please accommodate. This mage was a Baron tier 3 powerhouses who don't show off their strength. The 2 eagerly asked the mage, you can see the magic just now. That must be the spell of the second ring. Right. The mage replied angrily. Although it seemed it's like 2-ring magic, but the power of that magic far beyond my ability. He has reached at least 3 or higher levels at this time. The 2 were so scared that their diapers were wet. How dare we mock Count Palacio before so? He, the true strength that does not require guards, has always been hidden. Remembering that terrifying look in his eyes just now and the cold and cruel nature, they were going to pay a bribe in exchange for a name, but now I realize that probably won't work. Now that this is the case, we can only beg for forgiveness. The screen changes. The 2 bowed deeply in front of Alan. We don't understand. We don't understand. Please forgive our previous arrogance and irrationality. Monsignor Palacio, looking at the funny look of the 2, Alan thought helplessly, I wonder what they had misunderstood. Alan said coldly, do you want to deal with them directly? If it's too much trouble for you, I can do it for you. Although I am usually generous, but this time they really went too far. I'll handle it myself. Alan's feeble response, I didn't even have the strength to do it. Feel free to be afraid, however. In the eyes of both at this moment, Alan is like the embodiment of terror. They hugged each other and wept bitterly. It feels like it's completely over this time. Then Alan turned and walked to the other side of the hall. Since Ivan has been sent to the Intelligence Guild, now it's time to find out some noble news. He noticed that the two were talking secretly in the corner. Alan quietly uses magic to enhance his hearing. Soon the voice of the conversation came clearly from Alan. Did you hear that too? Regarding the Duke of Ardea and the Count of Zenonia, of course I've heard. They even tried to form factions here. These plots. Alan was shocked. I didn't expect them to join forces. But if you think about it, it's okay. The two families have always been at odds. Their alliance will surely not last long. Think of this. He took a bite of the egg tart in his hand, and it tasted really good, and the conversation continued. But there is even more amazing news. Don't let it get out. The leader of that faction, not any of them, the real leader is Count Palladio. This sentence completely shocked Alan. The egg tart in his hand fell abruptly. They both looked at Alan at the same time. The scene was awkward. Alan turned his head. What the hell are they talking about? I only met Loria once when I was a child, and the daughter of Xenonyatsis, never even met the Count of Zenonia himself. Why are these people all the same? Always spreading unfounded rumors. Just then someone suddenly stopped Alan. Alan wondered to himself, why are so many people looking for me today? Somebody introduce yourself. I'm Carlin. Is the third son of the Duke of Ma Long in the kingdom of Ashuteron. Nice to meet you. Alan thought that even the foreign nobles had come so politely responded. I am Count Palacio. Terran gave a bad smile. I heard you became an earl by luck. It's extreme. I can't help but want to see what you look like. What's your secret? Alan complained to himself. Is it sweet to even turn around now? Can donuts talk? The other two nobles intervened in time. The party is in front of Alan. You are ashamed. Humiliate our nobles in the kingdom of Astria? That's not what Carlin hastily defended. He thought there would be no trouble in bullying Alan because he is the handsome and romantic Kalinka Ma Long. He came all the way before to marry the youngest daughter of the Duke of Rottweiler. He turned to the princess. Not far away. My dear fiancé, please accept my dedication of sincerity and love, so perfect no woman would refuse her. Or are the women around the princess giving birth to a sister? The one on the left needs to lose weight. The one on the right has a big nose. Of course you are lucky to have inherited your mother's beauty. The princess turned and ran away when she heard the words. Anger cries out that we should reconsider our engagement. Just like that, my marriage was suddenly called off. Really atmospheric. I came all the way to get this result. Angry Carlin posted Alan eating egg tarts on the side. I heard he was a nobleman with no background. It just happens to be the best target for finding anger. However, 3 nobles surrounded Carlin at the same time. Have you been completely disrespectful? The kingdom of Ashtaron has long been our ally. Alan recognized these 3 important people. The one with the yellow hair is Rottweiler, the heart of the Duke's faction. Brunette, middle age. It's Marcus, an important figure in the King faction. Medanio, the one in the middle, is the central pillar of the kingdom's moderate faction. Duke Ma Long, is this looking down on us? Why are you so rude to the nobles of our country? Carlin panicked and apologized. I was wrong. But Marcus said sternly that the key is you have humiliated him. Alan is also confused. Why are these 3 big shots protecting me so much? Almost unknown if you think about it. This scene seems familiar. It's like being caught slacking off in military training. Carlin runs away in tears. Keep apologizing. 3 nobles asked Count Palladio with concern. Are you all right? Alan hurriedly said that he was fine. I wonder what's going on with people today. It's getting more and more scary. These big shots approach me. Does that mean the rumor is true? Once Aldea and Zenonia officially step into the fold, Palladio as their leader, power would be hard to imagine. Is it because of that rumor? It's going to be troublesome if it goes on like this. Maybe I should clarify that it's just a rumor. Horsekirkis is open. It sounds like we never had a good conversation. Count Palacio, I heard you've been studying magic lately. It just so happens that I got a beautiful antique I want to give you. How is the condensation of the artifact that can store magic power? The Duke of Rottweiler hastily echoed. I also prepared a gift. Even the ministers of the kingdom are competing to give away love. Len was eager to explain that it was just a rumor, but he couldn't resist the temptation, so I chose to remain silent. So he received 2 magical artifacts with 5 bottles of magic potions. The picture turns late at night in the annex of the Duke of Rottergrave. The mysterious voice asked Marcus, how are things going? And he said, well, that's going pretty well. He accepted the gift. Noble social small gifts are just greetings, but a gift like an artifact has far-reaching implications. For those who want to join a faction, gifts like this faction leader are of great significance. The other party is satisfied and says it's good that you are accepted. Marcus, filial piety. Thank you for it, all Duchess of Ardea. The Duchess responded graciously and welcomed you to join her. Marcus, Medanio, now we can officially share the same goal. The man is obviously a sponsor of the 5 great good people, but you still have to spend all day working on persecution and delusions. Therefore, he lived a peaceful and comfortable life for himself, and finally, he has finally found the true protagonist of the game. But now, right after the Duchess and Marcus, after discussing relevant matters, so Marcus thought to himself, the Duke of Arsha rarely makes a personal move. It's not going to show up. But this time he only delivered key messages to a few people. Certainly, after carefully selecting the necessary cards, they still have to pass a game with sincerity, the bribe test. Although related rumors have become like wildfire, spreading like a prairie fire, but anyone with the right eye can see that this is obviously a political game at this moment. Marcus made up his mind. We must seize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The screen changes. The time has come for the 4th day of the banquet. At this moment, Alan's heart was full of doubts because he didn't expect the plot will be added little by little, so he thought about it. Very likely it was those people who listened to him and Algia and false rumors about Zenonia to be so kind to him. Think of this, a trace of Ian flashed across Alan's eyes. If they are willing to misunderstand, then let them continue to misunderstand. Wait until your plan is fully implemented, give them another kill. But just then Alan in thought, suddenly, I felt a hand resting on his shoulders, it gave him a fright. Then Elvin showed an innocent expression, asked the young master, why are you having such a big reaction? Alan quickly explained, I just want to think about something quietly. But then what Alan said shocked him even more. It turned out that Alan heard that an outer god had descended from the north. Now they all say Caliban is in turmoil. According to historical records, they speculate Amethyst has a great connection with the outer gods. Alan hurriedly asked, what about the extra information I asked you to check earlier? Master, the person you are looking for in the village, just north of Ashtaron. So Alan's eyes lit up. We can stop by while we're on our way, then our next destination, it's at Tailburn. Why are you suddenly going to Caliban, sir? Are you planning on going up north? Hearing this, Alan slowly spoke, I'll fill you in on the way. You, Alan. Hurry up and pack your things now, let's get out of here now. But at this time, Alan's heart was also full of helplessness. He really hoped, don't let things develop to where they are now because of those outer gods like the five sins and the spirit of disaster. No one can predict which extraterrestrial god will come. No one knows when will they come by divine descent. This is why Alan is desperately collecting information, reasons for wanting to act quickly, but he never thought of it. Everything can be solved perfectly, come so fast? But he had to give it a go. Since he played the game, I've seen hundreds of different possible endings. I just hope this letter will give me the answer I want. The kingdom will eventually collapse and disintegrate. They will be in a land polluted by a force. Everything on the letter, then immediately order the abyss of destruction. The schedule of the North District will be postponed for 2 weeks. The other side will be damaged. Alan just arrived at a small village north of the Astron. After the arrival of the gods, I want to awaken as a living god. It's so easy to find a target person. The moment I saw several months during that time, they cannot take the form of a hero spirit fully unleashed. This boy is the main character. The best opportunity for them. Alan, it is also a character that the player can control. But when Alan saw him, I'm sure in my heart this guy must be the protagonist because of him, and the appearance in the game illustrations exactly the same, and his appearance is also ridiculously high. And that's when Alan spoke up. Ask Eliban, do you know who I am? But Eliban answered excitedly, although I don't know you, but I'm still super happy to meet new people. Look at the boy's lively appearance. So he thought to himself, no matter what the world, how different is it from the settings in the game? The protagonist is still the protagonist after all. So Alan thought to himself, this boy finally, it will definitely become a powerful presence that attracts much attention. Then Alan looked at Eliban and praised him for his cheerful personality, but he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Facing a character you use to manipulate this feeling is really strange. Subsequently Alan took out a bag of gold coins and handed it to Eliban. Eliban looked at the gold coins, handed over, doubt written all over his face, but I didn't wait for him to react. Alan gave him another even bigger surprise. Then Alan just pretended to be a demon. The box of the magic potion was placed in front of him, and the next second more gifts were placed on the ground one by one. Then Alan waved his handsome hand, say these things out loud, it's all for you. Seeing such a battle in an instant, Eliban's brain swings are completely fierce. After a while he came back to his senses to ask Alan, why are you suddenly giving me so many things? Alan looked at him. Then tell him clearly it's an investment. So he kept it to himself, because I brought it myself, it's all useful for the protagonist's early growth, grow up. Eliban, is that so? You can help me deal with trouble like an outer god. Think of this. Alan put a hand on Eliban's shoulder, said solemnly, the reason why I gave you so many gifts because of you later will definitely become a great figure. Look at the way Eliban is moved. Alan couldn't help but feel proud. Own this wave of operation. Have you completely conquered him? But suddenly something happened. He seems to have forgotten to tell Eliban, so Alan stopped and introduced himself as Count Palacio. This is when you become famous later. The names of sponsors who should be grateful here. Alan's address. Eliban immediately responded, loudly waving excitedly at Alan, I will definitely remember your name. Looking at the figure of Eliban waving his hands behind him, Alan couldn't help but mutter in his heart, has this kid always been this cheerful? You know, this is a dark fantasy game world. He really didn't expect the protagonist to be so optimistic. Just then Elvin couldn't help but ask himself, although I don't understand the purpose of the young master to do these things, but we don't have a formal conversation with him, is it really okay to just leave like this? Alan's answer was confident. He's a smart kid. Sooner or later you will understand my use. But then Alan thought about it. My life is now at stake. There is simply no extra time to cultivate. Slowly affinity is unknown. He has already put the protagonist, although he was wearing ordinary clothes, and then Aaron went on to say that anyway, this child seems to have an amazing gift. The magic in him too is not only the original setting. Before he embarked on his adventure, he should be just an ordinary person. Could it be another unexpected butterfly effect? But the world and the game are different after all, especially since he is still the protagonist. So anyway, you just have to stick to the plan and make it. The stronger he gets, the more worthwhile it is to invest in yourself. After all, Illidan is this sad dark fantasy world, the few kind people, so there's nothing to worry about. You can think of the word kindness. Alan's heart skipped a beat. Yusha, they should come to see themselves soon. He's never even been to an orphanage. That's because he was absolutely terrified of the children. But he never thought things can turn out like this. Before you know it, at this time, Alan asked the young master again, don't you think should we at least go and meet them? Hearing this, Alan couldn't help but sigh. Who knows? Maybe I should really go and meet them. Men are just secretly sponsored objects. It grew so well. Directly looking at Diva's kind smile, it gave him the pride of a father. Alan, in 10 days, finally arrived in the capital of Caliban, Kildam. At the moment they are in front of the north gate in Kildam. Alan complained with a dark face. Young master, this trip, it's really exhausting me. Alan feels the same way after a long journey. Anyone will feel tired, young master. If we hadn't been in that strange maze delayed time, I feel like at least I can hold my head up. Enter with your chest out. Alan listened, just a light response. It's unavoidable, we go from one place to another. Just for the upcoming, prepare for the coming war against the gods. I also specially prepared these gifts for this, but will Deus be satisfied? Pretty soon. It's almost time for their identity review. Evan says this kind of review should just go through the process. We'll end, so he told Aaron to wait. Go back by yourself, but Alan was relieved. Things seem to be moving fast here, but just then Alan ran back anxiously. Young master, we seem to be having a bit of a problem. Just as I mentioned Count Palacio's name, the guards suddenly banned us from entering the city, but your identity has clearly been verified. Heard this, Alan was just about to get out of the car and see for himself what was going on. Just then a man steps forward and he asked, "Are you Count Palacio?" "I am the green ship disciple of the Night Master Fiola Fence." "Look at this menacing man in front of you." Alan was filled with doubts, because he even never heard the name Fiola. Then Alan frowned. "Tell Velan that you bring so much discrimination. What does that even mean?" Varen sneered, said, "I had a friend in the kingdom of Astria. He asked me to give you a message, say he owes you a favor, 1 yen." Alan said this kind of thing with a blank face. I've never heard of it. But it was Alan who suddenly had an idea. It can't be that guy, can it? And Varen, after seeing Alan's sudden change in expression, a sneer arose at the corner of his mouth. "Say, it seems you have thoroughly offended my friend." Then he thought to himself, Carlin was crying to him, the Wu Ifu family, who said they were humiliated by Alan, and that guy is on his way to Cali. He also specifically instructed him Alan must be crippled, so Carlin also promised him if you can help him teach Alan a lesson will provide a lot of abyss fun to help him improve his skills. So since he owes that friend a favor, then at least you have to give a good performance. The voice just fell. Fence. A group of people immediately surrounded Alan and the two. Alan couldn't help but complain. The villain started the dispute alone, and he ran away. It's really troublesome now, and the fence looks down on Alan. "If you know each other, hand over all valuables in the carriage. I might even consider being lenient with you." Alan's eyes instantly became fierce, staring at him coldly. He thought quickly in his mind, I am only from the side of the kingdom of Astria aristocracy. There was no leverage in the league. And he's here in Caledon. No foundation or connections. It seems that the only way to rely on magic is now solve the crisis. At this time Wayland has taken the lead in attacking Alan. He was still thinking that no matter how big the trouble was, his master will also come forward to quell everything. Just as he attacked the moment that is about to fall on Alan, next second an invisible hand suddenly appeared out of thin air, tightly grabbed his neck. That was amazing. The sword in the fence's hand was instantly released, fell to the ground. Subsequently, the big hand directly strangled him by the neck, raised high, and turned in Alan's direction. See this scene. Elvin reacted immediately. "Quickly pull out the sword at your waist." The young master, who stood in front of Alan to protect himself, but now the man is facing the fence, coldly say, "What do you think you are doing? How dare you do something to my benefactor?" Unfortunately, all of you failed to understand this crucial truth. Stop the man, and shake it casually. He slammed the fence to the ground, and then his feet and die without mercy stomped on the face of the fence. At the same time, a fence that has been trampled on the ground finally recognized the identity of this person. It turned out that he was with the Snowfield. Kurga wins the duel, and therefore Devuz Makaran, who won the title of Swordless, and it was Deus. He glanced fiercely at the others around him. The doctor said that if any of you, even if one person is moved to kill, I don't think I need to say more about the consequences. Go figure. Saying that, he kicked again. He kicked violently towards the fence under his feet. That's it. That fence is like a ball. Kicked around by Deus, powerless to fight back. Until then Alan just recognized the powerful knight in front of him. It turned out to be Deus, and Deus continued to teach Velan a lesson, while faintly saying that you should know how to be grateful, Mr. Wayland. Because of you, it's my temporary the situation that can't kill you, but let you suffer a little. I think it's still perfectly fine. The voice just fell. Deus revealed a kind smile, and then another massage against the fence, but in Alan's subjective perspective the scene just now made him think Deus just called himself a benefactor. Right. If it was when he was young, perhaps even grateful for this kindness. Now he has grown up. Alan had thought Devos probably won't welcome a man he has barely met, but now it seems he was obviously wrong. This feeling, it's like this. A son who has worked hard to raise, now it's finally paid off. Divas should know very well who has been secretly sponsoring him back then. And he's really growing up really well now. It really lived up to my hopes, growing up to be a particularly amiable person, upright young man. So this is to see someone who is well educated by themselves. What's it like raising a son? I am so proud to be a father, but sir, you know your son, I'm beating people so much that I'm about to faint. Has it passed? Of course I know. That's because his father is in a foreign country, humiliated. Then he looked at the kind-hearted Alan in front of him. I can't help but think to myself, why is my son so cute? So under the full care of Deus, not long after the fence is comfortably into a baby-like sleep. Then Ducey slowly walked towards Alan's direction. See, Alan's heart suddenly flashed with a trace of unease. Anyway, Deus is also one of the 5 major sins. He wouldn't do anything to himself, would he? But just then, and something unexpected happened. Deus turned to Alan. Instant line, a standard, and respect, and you said to Alan in an extremely gentle tone, please allow me to personally escort you into the city. As soon as this sentence comes out, everyone around was instantly stunned in their hearts. The same idea came to me at the same time. This is outrageous. Open the damn door. Crazy home men are just pretending to be serious on the surface. In fact, my heart is panicked just because of his request this time, for fear of being rejected by his own greatness. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, the most famous of the 8 chiefs, Kulka along with his entire tribe have been completely strangled. No chance of survival now on the battlefield. Delman, He is the third master of swordsmanship in the kingdom of Caliboon, and the captain of the Knights of Starred Flame. This victory undoubtedly belongs to the Knights of the Wild Goose. With Delmon's order, all knights return to the outpost, immediately perform trimming and equipment maintenance en route. Delmon's heart was full of secret joy after he secretly planned to make such a shocking achievement. That person can no longer surpass himself. You know, he's just been promoted to Master Knight. Even if this promotion he used it in exchange for a despicable dose that others will never know, and he didn't care. For a long time, the war between Caliboon and the barbarians, we always adhere to the principle of respecting each other's honor, but this time Delmon broke the rules completely. He first deceived Kurkan into going to the appointment alone, then they swarmed up with an infiltration force. Don't give Kulkan any chance of a fair duel. It is by this ruthless and shameless means he was able to uproot the Kulkan family. Although this expedition ultimately achieved its stated goals, but Delmon's heart was always haunted around a little uneasy that Kurkan's body disappeared in the chaotic battle, but he was soon comforting himself. Most likely the remaining savages secretly hid Kurkan's body. Fear nothing. Even 10,000 step back. Kurkan survived, must have been killed by that chronic poison. The thought of this Delmon couldn't help himself. A look of ecstasy emerges. The bottom of the rock is full of Jida Yiman, because as long as he can get back to Caliban, smoothly report the attack, all ambitions can be realized. But just as he stepped in the moment at the gate of the outpost, the appearance of a figure made him instantly in place. The blood all over my body seems to be at this moment. The ecstasy on the frozen face instantly replaced by the ultimate evil, just because of the silhouette of that figure, the unique smell of the inner bone. It was all too familiar to him. Right here in Delmon, and yet to recover from the shock, the figure slowly turned around. His eyes were freezing cold like a brittle and poisonous blade locked to Delmon, full of monstrous hatred. Delmon's brain went blank. He couldn't figure it out. Anyway, Kulka, who should have died long ago, why are you standing in front of yourself alive? With this suffocating sense of oppression, then a cold and dignified voice ringing in the air. Why do you want to read? The great and sanctified Grim Reaper, why betray the honor of war? The voice just fell. Kulkan's body exploded. Destroying pressure swept the entire outpost. That power is terrifying to the extreme. Even with just one hit, hundreds of lives can be cut off. Delmon, who witnessed this scene, golden crocodile on face. It's a bone marrow panic. Kulkan, he didn't have time to respond and beg for mercy at all. In a flash, he appeared beside him in an instant. Could it be that you shouldn't apologize for the word duel you pretend to believe in? Are you responsible for this despicable situation? If you cut your fingers because you fell into a cave, you will throw a punch at will. Above the ground in an instant, a huge deep ditch opened. Subsequently, Kulkan said coldly, "This is your last chance, Delmon. You have reached the level of human difficulty, reached the height of power, but willing to be a traitor to honor here." This Delmon was completely flustered. He hastily ordered discrimination present. Prepare for battle. Immediately kill Kulka at all costs. But in Kulkan's eyes, such a mortal without honor, not worthy of an honorable death at all. This dirty and despicable person only deserved the most humiliating ending. In the next second, a strange scene suddenly happened. All the knights who rushed up bodies begin to decay at a rate visible to the naked eye. Then Curtin's figure flashed again, fast enough to leave an afterimage. I just heard a scream. Flurman's right arm was instantly severed. Instantly blood gushed out. Before Delmon could feel the pain of his broken arm, Kurkan punched hard to the ground. Huge impact in an instant. All the remaining knights were shaken into the air at the same time. Kurkan leapt. A punch went straight through Delmon's chest. Delmon's eyes were full of inexhaustible and unwilling at the moment. He didn't understand until he died. What the hell is going on here? Why did Kulkan become so powerful? Consciousness fades, finally plunged into complete darkness, and all the savages in this land. In fact, it is all by those who have been deprived of the right to die, unable to rest. It was finally transformed by the dead. Then Kulka's voice sounded again. Welcome to the bloody arena. There is no connection here. Here it is. Ulcerus is the mystery of all savages, is the supreme dueling father in their hearts. Next you will go through duels, one by one, marry a glorious death, prove that you are not a true barbarian, and at the same time. The other side. After Deus saluted Alan, all the knights around him were completely stunned. They even began to suspect the man in front of him. Bowed his head to Alan. Is it the real Wu Jian himself? To know that in the kingdom of Tailboon, the aspiration of Deus Makron, the god of Wu Jian higher than the sky, he once publicly assaulted the second prince of the kingdom, and they got away with it. Just because of that prince, how dare you harass his sister with impunity, and everybody knows that. Divus never, except for the king, any human form other than such a grand gift. That's why. He is like a noble in another country, will shock all knights. An ignorant person who can make Divus so proud, willing to bow your head. The Count Palatio, what level of big man, what kind of terrifying strength and background does it have? But little do they know these stares of theirs seem to Alan, it will soon spread to the outrageous mother. Just then Alan said to Alan, Master, I'll follow with the carriage. Titan one step first. But when Alan came to Divus' house, or by this magnificent mansion, deeply shocked, then Alan soon. He followed Divus into the mansion, but looking at Devos back, the silence choked him. But then he thought about it. Alan thinks again. Perhaps Divus' sudden visit to his home also feel uncomfortable. After thinking for a moment, Alan made up his mind. Let's get straight to the point. After we meet in a while. He thinks this is the expression, the best way to respect and understand yourself. Just then a deep voice suddenly into Divus' ears. Then Alan said to Devos, I came here who has today always been good at expression management. Because there is a request the face is I want to make to him, but no one knows Alan's seemingly composed expression managers, who had always been very calm, and because he knew very well the request I am about to make. The reason why he lost his temper so particularly shameless. They may even reject their own request, make the scene awkward. Then, under the leadership of Devos, Alan this is something he never expected. Looked at the surprised expression room without the slightest hesitation. He sat down. It should be fine to do so, right? After all, shouldn't the host sit in the highest seat? In fact, the The reason why Alan is so casual and polite, the fundamental reason is that he likes his benevolent eyes so big. After thinking for a moment, Alan looked up against Davis. He slowly said his 2 requests. I know these 2 requests are for you, might be a big burden, but I had to go north. Davis, would you like to go with me? But what Alan didn't expect was you are so kind-hearted, quickly agreed, also said he was also planning to go on an expedition to the north. Here this answer Alan was instantly relieved. Fortunately, I wasn't rejected. If you are rejected by Davis in person, that would be really not embarrassing. After the surprise again, there was doubt in Alan's mind. This time he and Devos went north, really able to get out of the treasure trove of Callie Boone smoothly. Get crazy? What's the matter? Let this arrogant girl explode on the spot, of course. I saw the man in front of me. The deputy commander has finished the escort and returned. Thank you, although there are heads of state. There is no need to worry at this time. A voice came, and he actually wanted an escort. It seems that a distinguished guest from my brother has come to the door, so it's Miss Sharp? It wasn't that long ago. Davis asked him to pass it on next time he went north. Schedule postponed by 2 weeks. The reason is that the benefactor is coming soon. It was the first time he saw the one who made this expression. It is said to be the Count of Faraday of Asteria. Healy heard about it too. Alan asked Deus, can it be loaned from the treasuries of the Colivan royal family? Between the arrogant, although it is an unreasonable request to owe the royal family a favor, but this plan must use the arrogant. Just as Deus was about to answer, of course, it was someone who interrupted him. Alan apologized for being a little late. Alan thought to himself, Alan, you came just in time. At this time, it is better to ease the atmosphere first. Maybe he will like the gift he brought. Elvin just brought it. Right. Of course. Here we go. These are gifts. Especially this jewelry festival. Strongly recommend after all. It's a popular model, and Alan thought, this is how it transforms into a cozy atmosphere. This is carefully selected. Hope he likes it. It just looks like he's unmoved. Don't you open that gift and take a look? Devos said it was a matter of etiquette. Open it when you're alone. Alan feels the gift offensive has failed. Don't you like it? Here it is. A count who despises his own small country, or do you really want to treat yourself seriously? But what are you doing to my benefactor? What do you mean? And Alan was talking about this. If because I just said goodbye, what impact does it have on you? Can compensate. Deus says bring the ring of the proud. Immediately. Did you hear where this thing is? Just now you said it was in the treasure house of the Kelly royal family, so it won't be troublesome? Usually takes a week. After leaving the room, the royal family calls out to his brother, but you only have to deal with about 50 digits. Who came long time necessary to do so? Sharp is Ellen's brother. I didn't expect him to drive like this. To save Davis. Sister the game. Let's go now. Only says how he died at first glance. Is he serious? It is really exactly the same as Davis still offered to recycle it. Told Sharp. This is not my brother. Do you mean to bring it back? Although I know that Davis has always been security for his family, I'm really grateful for that. I didn't expect to cherish it more than I thought. Alan felt like he was just saying hello. It doesn't have to be that way. Alan suddenly remembered Deus is very cooperative with his own reasons, because just like after Sharp, I have already filled his goodwill. I've been focused on not letting him become a big sin. Didn't expect this at all. In that case, no matter what, he will help me, right? Shouldn't it be daydreaming? Not to this extent. You must be Count Faraday. I heard from Brother Evan that the Count ordered me to save me. Davis emphasizes again that Evan is an uncle. Alan replied it's okay, just did what had to be done, because he knew Sharp was dead. Your brother will become a mainland murderer just in case. Kai rang when both of them are in better shape. Just met. Thank you very much. Although Alan did have other intentions, but it's also nice to get their thanks. Therefore, he temporarily stayed at the bottom of Diva's house. It didn't take long. Davis returned to the proud at the bottom of the mansion. The world has been brought. It's only been a day. Brought this back in one day. Then Elvin came to report to the Count. I just heard a strange rumor. Davis, in order to let Wong Bus produce treasures, just had a big fight. The second prince, who tried to find fault, got several slaps. So after 3 days of preparation, Alan and the Knights of the Japanese Division officially embarked on the road to the expedition to the north 2 weeks later. From the pre-war base on the northern crossing line in Kelly. Desperate news from over there. Some people question whether to retreat. Do you want the Manchus to feel that we have fled? Marquis, didn't you see it too? How badly were the soldiers wounded? Even the first sword is reclusive. Where do we stand a chance? Theora thinks everyone has a point. Calm down before making a decision. He is the fourth remnant of Kelly when the Knights. The outer gods swept the base with the King. Third Delman death at eastern base. The second Kiliana at western base was seriously injured. Davis laments, I didn't expect to see this kind of picture here. Weird red with ominous magic. Only by raising it to a certain level eye-opener to see the terrifying magical scenery. An uneasy premonition always pulls my attention. Maybe going back is the best option. This is when Devos discovered the smoke seems to be coming from the front. I heard the fold back. Compression sweet potato again. They're roasting sweet potatoes. Where did you get this? Then I heard another voice. The treatment for you gals is over. It has not been possible to do. I'm here to study the rituals of fulfillment. Could it be that shouldn't it make me a higher priority? The person next to him asked him to treat again. Deus recognized that it was the second faintness. The Knights and the Deputy Master of the Blue Magic Tower. Pena says stop thinking about it. Just be honest and watch. It's time I left. It's in place. Get out of my face over there. The next moment, he was shocked because Alan appeared in front of his eyes. The battle of the gods has begun. This is the first time a man has fought head-on with an outer god. Just now Pena gave a shocked expression because I saw that Alan was here too. There is a deputy tower owner, Mota, who said that you are here. So it was true. The medicine you ordered is no longer available. It takes a long time to make. Because I'm too busy. It's hard for me to rob people. Is it so troublesome? Pernia immediately said it was completely fine. Is that okay? But the financial situation has been poor recently. Payment may be later. That's what should be done. 1 gold coin is enough. I will not refuse your kindness. The two were shocked. The deputy tower master actually smiled, and hundreds of gold coins were also robbed. Really crazy. I'm going to finish it soon and send it over. The two could see that they were in awe of the deputy tower master. Oh, this man, did you feel that breath just now? Deus also felt a sniff. A group of resurrected knights rushed over the two sides, immediately began to fight. Pena conjured magic. A blizzard froze the bodies. Deus also dashed through the crowd. It was easy to kill these corpses. Immediately, he noticed that something was coming. Pena hurriedly looked in that direction. A bolt of lightning fell from the sky. The despair of overwhelming force. Savage. Don't destroy those. The sins of those who have lost their honor. Piola slashed the outer god with an arrow. Even the speedy arrows are useless. The outer god just raises his hand. Piola was dealt with and gave up the honor. Those who give up their noble souls can't get honor. The crowd of death shook. Lord Piola is dead. Then a figure stepped forward. The great god of dueling. Oedipus, according to the oath of Kagunya's eye, Alan Faraday. Follow this great vow. A Babylonian duel against you. The outer god, who heard the voice, laughed out loud. To know the vow of our time, it really makes me feel new and nostalgic. Noble person, welcome to where no one can blood. Like Colosseum of obstruction. Oedipus follows the great oath. Accept this holy Babylonian duel. Very strong micro pressure. Alan felt his expectations were wrong. I didn't expect it. He has reached the state of a half-step informant god. The closer the outer gods are to the informants, the stronger the gods will be. After becoming a kudzu will have the same power as the 5 great sins if you don't take extraordinary medicine in advance. I'm afraid he's in a coma by now, so before he wakes up this is the last chance. Let's start the duel. The age of God, forgotten by all. The great Babylonian duel was his turning point. The rules have been advanced by the side initiating the duel. Just let you listen to the song of destruction. People were shocked. What was going on? All retreats spread out. People don't understand why they're seeing this. Rule 2, defenders are prohibited from acting several rounds, are not allowed to move. Very good person who cherishes honor. Rule 3. In the order of attack and defense, take turns being the attacker and defender. For Alan, as a defender, this kind of power ordinary defense is meaningless at all. Fixed condensation in one breath, enhanced sublimation, so even if you use up all the magic today, even if it can only block one, the energy was directed towards Alan. Alan faced an attack head-on, just a loud bang. A red ditch appeared on the ground. Is Pena shocked that he is still alive? There's a huge magic circle behind Alan, although they suffered significant injuries, but it also blocked this attack. This is the power imperative that Pena just gave. Remittance potion can shield extreme pain. The effect is very good. If there is no such possibility, I'm afraid I can't even stand up, and everything went exactly as planned. Without expansion. Although it cannot be filled at one time, it's the best after all. At least get yourself back in action right away. This has satisfied the conditions of arrogance. It's time to check. It's finally time for the long-awaited attack. The man just used the legendary ancient jewelry, defeated the unrivaled outer god, and this shocked everybody. Even the cardinal sin of adoption has become more adoring of him. Oedipus boss is not just a turning point, and there are other rules as well. Eutortus barbarian prove glory with the great Babylonian duel. The rules are designed to limit the movements of outer gods. Deliberately dragged him into a duel. The outer gods accepted this holy Babylonian duel. It can stop the cycle of death. Pendant and recovery potion after the attack really managed to save a small life. Fulfillment constraints the conditions for activating the pride realm are we have to freeze. Constraint completed. After all, he took duels very seriously. There should be no defense or obstruction in the game. You will directly take the first machine. Enhancements are not as limited as usual. There's a time limit. But it's different here than in the game. There's no time limit. The first restriction: when magic can be used in cold places, you can deliberately distort the rules of the world. The first gesture is a foldback. Article 2 restrictions on the use of magic in the state of ice can distort the rules of the world. And then he did a second gesture. A little bit. And then a third gesture, condensation. Then comes the dead side. Rule 3. When using magic against the gods can distort the rules of the world, and the last thing that comes out is this line of silence. Article 4 restrictions: when using magic against the dueling god Oedipus can distort the rules of the world. All I heard was a loud explosion. The outer god did not evade and took down the blow. Only one elimination can succeed. The outer gods will not be destroyed by the dissipation of the body. Even if you get shot in the heart, is the outer god's admiration strong? Alan was shocked why the other party wasn't dead, yet it's impossible to prepare for that long in a game, obviously using constraints. It has also increased several times. Did the blow of power just fail? Even the stored magic power has been exhausted, so that's it. That will has been inherited, even qualified. Is this the end? Alan wondered. Noble person, it's a great duel. Alan noticed that the gods were dissipating. Sure enough, you deserve it. Black guy and green guy's watch. Since there is no defeat, then I'll give these things to you as gifts. Remember the forgotten greatness, the existence of gods and mysteries. Remember us, and has been perpetuating this oppression. When the usurper breaks free and crawls out, just call the tyrant, not under a falsely smeared alias. Wu's real name is Strange Power Chaos, and then the gods disappeared. Expeditions are also searching for the dead who have found peace, busy preparing for the return of Kelly. When anyway? The deputy tower owner's question just now. Pernia immediately replied that the count was second order. No. It's the third order. I remember wrong. Anyway, did you know that the black guy and the green guy? I don't know anything. I've never seen a black guy or a green guy. Really never seen nothing. This time what you see is really true. After saying that, he ran away. Thank you for sending me back and not letting him go. I always receive thanks from people for little things. I feel like I have become like a cruel black devil. Why does it dissipate due to a failed attack? What the outer god said also confused Alan. This belt, it is indeed equipment seen in the game. Belt of the forgotten equipment acquired after defeating Oedipus can increase user damage by 2x, but the damage taken is also double. Person who continues the will go to Kahala. The city of the old gods. This is the first time I've seen this text. Can I get any clues in Kahala? This is Devas looking for it. Is something wrong? The wizard. How dare you be so rude to the count? Do you want to kill him? No need. Alan always thought he was being too aggressive. Manhwa always felt murderous after 2 weeks. Kildan. The capital of Kelly Deus submitted the crusade report to Wang Cheng. The northern expedition is over. The pride's ring was safely returned. See you next time. I also received so many gifts from the kingdom of Kelly when I spent all my money to save my life. Before leaving, did Divas ask if I didn't get stronger? What is he talking about? He is the youngest master knight. Do you think magic is handsome? The effect this time is really shocking. Before the 5 most united gods and soldiers' children's inherent abilities are also at the level of hooligans. Deus swordsmanship excellence. Getting stronger is only a matter of time. Of course you can become stronger if you work hard, strong enough to achieve anything you want. You were born with the blessing of a gift. Alan thought to himself, how great would it be if I had that kind of talent myself. Anyway, don't worry. I'll go first then. Finally, I would like to ask why you didn't use the command. But to ask why would anyone give orders to their family? Devas was speechless. Alan was on his way back to town. So far, he always thought aid was purposeful, although there is indeed one who wants to stop the original goal of the advent of the 5 sins, but with so much hard-earned money, just pure support as expected. Raising children is useless at all. Shortly after the mansion of Divas, to repay the kindness I just went with that adult, I actually got the favor of others again. He's learning from Alan's gestures. Try the line of silence. Tried a few times to no avail. If you were like that person, it would be nice to have a talent for magic. Family? Alan is still eating sweet potatoes at this time. A new shady curtain has emerged. Men don't know anything became the mastermind behind the scenes. After 3 months Alan finally came home. I'm so tired. Lie down first. Welcome home. Count a room stacked with work. I thought it was the bedroom. You come back with a mountain of work. I should have gone to rest right away. It's what you should do anyway. Helpless professional. When can I be like a noble? Live a comfortable life, then to reward myself. Give yourself a week off. Peace and prosperity are the greatest happiness after a week off. I'm already starting to feel uneasy. Workplace instinct. The forgotten power and mystery of the great god. Permissions and black stuff. Cyan things are weird. Those who inherit the will must first understand. Oedipus leaves questions. Remembering the power of the forgotten gods and mysterious humans. I have indeed heard of power and mystery, but other than that I don't understand why the god Oedipus is so strange. Will there be a true life like the Eastern god? And this is the first time Alan has seen this kind of dissipation. Why are there external gods? Since it has already happened once, then other outer gods should also come, of course. Compared to the 5 major sins, or is it better to be an outer god soldier? Although Alan would love to go to Kahala immediately, but even if you know the location, you can't go there. To prevent forgetting, wrote the Secadilia Knowledge Handbook. Someone who continues the will? Go to Kahala. The city of God. Kahala equals ruins. Cronies secret underground. There was an analysis. Say it was discovered 3 years before the main character left his hometown. 3 years before the original. This year it has not been discovered by explorers yet. It will definitely be troublesome to go there rashly. Then Elvin came here. My lord, it's a bit colder here than anywhere else. Is this also magic? Now magic works. It's worth doing research during the holidays. Elvin said something else. Crony found a hidden city the other side of this moment, and that concludes the meeting. This is through a crystal ball conducted. Regular blue moon meetings. Meetings usually don't last longer than 10 minutes. Snow wave lift. I heard that the great moon went to Kelly Wendu's. What do you think after seeing it with your own eyes? Deus is usually silent, but this time it happened, so let me tell you about it. Selfless talk starts the conversation like this in everyone because of despair and trembling with fear. The great moon stands up indifferently. Demand a duel. Now that I think about it, I'm afraid he foresaw all this long ago. I've been preparing magic since then. Wait. How on earth did he know about the duel? And he knew it already. Wait, in 50 minutes. The point is just started. No one could have predicted that mortal blow, but the great moon did it. It's amazing. He's getting serious about preparing to attack. Shualong thought to himself that Yusha would stop him. Yusha was intoxicated. Sure enough, the great moon is unlike any other. Shui Lang feels that this is the end. All 3 of them couldn't stand it. Devas also found that it seemed to have been said for a little too long. See you at the next meeting. I haven't been this happy in a long time. That day, the Blue Moon half-term meeting reached the longest record of nearly 3 hours. The Earl's mansion. Soon after. Why are there so many gifts? Elvin recognized this as equipment from deep within the labyrinth. This thing, I'm afraid it's enough to buy the bottom of the house, and the infrastructure people are all unknown. The content of the noble card is not a joke. It seems that the news has already spread. Benefactor of the Master Knight Lord Faraday overturned north. And Kelly, please remember that I am Baron Pamela. You can get this insight just by networking. The truth learned by a former SME slave. Thank you for your kindness. Just give it, and take it as a secret vault. Another gift arrived a week later. People have been sending these in all week. It's all kinds of weird things. The network of general discrimination is actually so good. Davies. You are indeed a dutiful son. Alan decided to forget him the sad past that I never contacted before. There are still gifts? If it is too expensive after a month, please send it back. Alan already feels the burden. Gift offensives that go a little too far will appear less often. Capital of the Kingdom of Astria, in front of the Grand Council of Cray. I was late for my first appearance in Parliament. Alan reminds. Please go and come back quickly. Alan doesn't want to be noticed for being late. Either the Count has no shortage of hips. So it seems I'm really in a hurry. Immediately realized that something was wrong. Why is that? It seems that one by one they have followed the Count. Everyone doesn't seem to be late when Alan walks in. Great. On the left is the Wang party, on the right is the aristocracy. Alan has already investigated in advance, there's no filming over there. Right. Sure enough, sitting in the back is King. Found a group of nobles in the back, weren't they all still outside just now? So Alan chose another location, sit at the back and wink at me? Then go to the middle, it's really staring at it, what are you doing? It's because I don't like to sit in the front, did you just follow behind you? But no. Alan thought to himself, sit with the faction leaders. So what? Let the conference begin. Let me inform you first, the newly created party has been given the right to decide. Alan hopes it will end soon. The representative of the new party is Count Faraday. Alan doesn't understand what partisanship is. Are you the only one who doesn't know about it? What are these two doing? Why are you sitting so quietly? It is the alliance of Genonia and Altai. Has it become a faction? What's all this about? This faction is the new party. I thought it would break immediately. This is crazy. Lord Count, as a representative of the new party, do you have anything to say? Wait a minute. The new party representative, so now the leader of the emerging shady faction, is himself Transmigrator. The Council of Little Knowledge stipulates that nobles must participate. If it weren't for this, it would have arrived at Crony long ago. Something big could happen if you don't participate. You thought he was in the game, innocent and decent protagonist actually. But murderous moon worshippers, and Alan didn't know it was happening. Knife party representative, don't you have anything to say? Is this serious? In one night becoming the leader of a shady party, it's not going to happen. But it's not impossible. Isn't this really the title of a novel? You don't seem to have anything to say. Then skip first celebrating the birth of the Knife Party. Lord Count, tonight's protagonist, is the Count. Alan wondered if he was just a puppet leader. Kalia asked if he was enjoying the party. How? This is perfect. Loria thinks this has been according to Faraday. It was as successful as Jew had hoped. Alan remembers, and Genonia, who completed the succession ceremony, seems like only a few years ago. Just a few words. Do you have a dual personality? It's what the other personalities are doing behind their backs. Loria says the opportunity to repay your life-saving gift, that's great. Alan doesn't understand what this is talking about, so we got information through chat. Looks like Alan, after Faraday ordered them to form an alliance through the instructions given to Genonia, created the Knife Party. Last time I told Genonia several nobles have spoken ill of themselves. He understood it as Alan. I hope there are nobles who understand themselves, hence the Knife Party. The nobles offered gifts to Alan as leader, also asking to join the Knife Party, but the oath or something never made them do it, and it seems to be sent as an apology. Just say in the gift card, why is there something you don't understand? Please advise me more. My lord, I love you very much, understand? There must be a misunderstanding here, right? In Alan's experience, Shady always has strange ideas. Why didn't you say it when you received the gift? It seems that only kill him. The shady scenes in this game, they're all extreme people in particular. Genonia find a suitable opportunity to retire. Two people ask what is Alan going to do next? After all, he knows nothing about politics, better not to get involved. Let's start rectifying the dark world. Now I have something to do. So I'm leaving first. We have to get out of here before they ask any more questions. After coming outside, is Elvin's letter sent out? How's the party? How did you get out so fast? Don't look over there. Go to Clooney now in the ballroom at this time. He's still the same as before, disappeared. As soon as he finished speaking, the area we're in has long been controlled. He must be asking us to unify the dark events. That would be fun. I don't know how far he wants to go. I'm really looking forward to it. On the way to Clooney, the leader has his eyes on Alan's carriage. Found Count Faraday, although it was easy to kill him, but if the Master Knight strikes, but it's troublesome, and the captain also said, even if you get a huge reward, also try to avoid those who have too many grievances are king. But this time the entrusted captain must understand, under the house of the Duke of Ma Long in the south of the kingdom of Ashertalan, you are the agent. Do you have to know me if you're right? After all, you are the family of the Seeker, but the Walker is a master of swordsmanship, and the powerful United Kingdom assassin group, he just throws the feathers out. A few people hiding in the shadows were killed on the spot. He explained this is just dealing with the mice encountered in the commission. And you are really strong. Hope you can help deal with it. Earl of Faraday won't refuse the commission of the tyrant Ashertalan. As long as there is a suitable reward, never fail, even if the target is royalty. But Lord Calman will surely accept pay for the higher fee. Here are 4 that are not abyss domains, but abyss bodies. This is very rare in the underground black market goods in circulation. It is different from the abyss domain that can only enhance the ability of the physical body. You can get special powers from it. The price of each one is astronomical. Take off the captain's service and broadcast a little sweetness for a long time if you use that. I don't know how strong it can become. This is also the most one of the reasons why the strong walkers went to attack Alan. Fastest speed back to report that Faraday dares to underestimate himself. Do you think you can rest easy in the future? But the walker has come somewhere again. Ashtaran, Duke of Ma Long, he is the leader of the nobility of the kingdom and the man behind the United Kingdom. I thought that useless son stole the abyss. What does the body want to do? Although the contender wants the abyss body very much, but the captain said it must not have anything to do with the Duke's family. Just pretend you didn't hear anything and go away. Looks like I'm going to turn a blind eye this time. God sent opportunity. Greetings to the captain. I can't find a good excuse after coming to the door without authorization. Whatever you want. Then someone came to the room of Duke Ma Long. You said that? Unable to exercise influence in the kingdom of Astria, right? Because of the Faraday-centric knife party over there, Pi is expanding. He is Uncle Shudoroba, the power behind the Talon kingdom. If you do it directly, There may be trouble. The leader thought the body will soon be owned by himself, so he launched an attack on Alan. There are no regrets. Put Count Faraday. The leader's hand was suddenly broken, just a loud bang, because someone did something to him. This guy took out the walker. With just one hit a figure appeared in front of him. Don't waste your time. You can't move anyway, can you? He is a turn-based RPG. The protagonist of the game, Kaglia, Elivan, just moving a finger the walker's body twists a lot. Directly and completely killed Alan in the car. Doesn't know what's going on yet. What a pity that Elivan flew away from the sky. If the target is not the Count, you wouldn't have died at my hands. The man finally, and one of the 5 teams of snow waves. Hello. When you meet, you look very enthusiastic on the way to the desert. Alan feels like his lungs are almost cooked through. It's been 5 days, still can't get used to it. If only there was cryolite, although it is equivalent to the money of several houses. Don't you practice magic? Count. What makes the ground freeze or something? Said no. If you use it wrong, it will be a big deal. Alan thinks that's better than turning into a barbecue anyway. Joining a trade union is indeed a smart move after all. We don't know the way to the desert. Alan looked at the carriage next to him. Why do you look at me like that? Do you like to peek? Girl's name is Ian Agoras. She is the daughter of the Lord of the Red Devil Tower, still a 4th order magician. Alan explained that there is no such hobby. Look at you, pretending to be garlic, just like the master of the Blue Devil Tower. It's annoying. Did you see it? My lord. A pile of cryolites hung from his carriage. Alan knows the Red Devil Tower Lord is a madman with a fiery personality. It's no good to mess with his daughter. Let's keep a low profile. It didn't take long for someone to sneak attack. The guards were quickly dealt with. Ian was also captured by this group of people. Look here. Hand over the things obediently. It's for your own good too. Someone recognized this pattern as a gang of bloodthirsty thieves. Miss Ian, and they caught him. What can the merchant group owner do? I heard that Lord Mata's daughter is coming here. I really found the treasure, miss. We will treat you specially. Something is wrong with Ian at this moment. Who is this guy? Tane. I can't breathe for a while because of the psychological shadow. The thieves noticed an air conditioner nearby. It was Alan who did the magic. Thanks to the air conditioner, Ian's hyperventilation has also stopped. He also found out that the man was Count Faraday. There was a chill around Alan. As the daughter of Lord Mata, because of this identity, Ian has been through all kinds of things, even with psychological trauma and an extreme aversion to lies. As a 4th order magician, he is particularly sensitive. That person's magic power is currently only 2nd order. I heard that he stopped the outer gods and did a great job, or the benefactor of the master and the knight. It must have taken the credit of the knight. Spread rumors. That's what Ian, who hates Earl Faraday, thinks. But that was compound magic. Just now, at least 3 kinds of magic were used. Magic works in different configurations. Compound magic that must be connected in its own way. The more magic you connect, the success rate plummets. It is only possible to do it at level 5. How is that possible? The thieves headed for Ellency. Alan raised his hand and used a spell to freeze, and finally, destruction. As long as the boss of the thieves is solved, others will run away. Give you a chance. Get out. The thieves are starting to disperse. Ian also knew that the rumor was true. How about Earl's fine wine? It tastes great with sausage. Thank you for saving our lives. You can prepare as much as you want. The magic worked well. Great. But reducing restrictions and working the magic I came up with while on vacation. Severe cold. Not only must the space air conditioner be used at the same time to maintain magic, also change the surroundings to the northern effect when used in cold weather. Therefore, the state makes use of magic mana ability reduced. Use magic against gods. Use magic, and the great dueling god war Tutus. The constraints that Alan will endure for the rest of his life reduced to 3, but the combination of 3 spells can only last for 1 minute. Time is still too short. It seems that it will continue to be revised. But the magic associated with the cold worked well thanks to the belt. The power has increased a lot. Just solve the constraints. Then Ian came to the Earl of Faraday. I misunderstood you during this time. I'm so sorry. If it's not rude, can I discuss magic with you? Alan doesn't understand that he was provocative before what happened suddenly. But I accept your apology. After all, I have a big heart. As expected of the Count, that's the man. This is the time to go to Crony. Discussed magic alignment with Ian for the sentence for Alan, who changed the nature of magic. Kind of useful after that. To the desert country. Crony. Ian asked Alan if he would attend the society, but Alan replied people who are not magic towers should not be able to participate. If you want, you can participate in the society as a person of the Red Devil Tower. Happy discussion. I appreciate your kindness. See you later then. And it happened to be in that tower. Alan happened to be missing something too. That would be great. Alan is here. The carriage has been handed over to someone else. Luggage will be delivered later. You said the appointed place is nearby. Just a loud bang. The few people next to him were instantly solved. The two still don't understand what's going on. A golden light struck. Alan hurried to stand in front of Alan. The Count. You stepped back. A figure stepped on the fallen. Tu Shui Lang suddenly hugged Alan. Hello, Enchi. Since you are here, please tell me. There are a lot of rascals here who eat the heat, but it was solved just now. The guy eyeing Enchi's stuff. The current snow wave is Crony. Only 4 Baba teeth. One of the nicknames Golden Flash. After receiving the letter, I have been waiting for you to go. People are talking about him as a golden glitter, right? Who is that guy? Make that rabid dog so passionate. Alan thought to himself that those people couldn't have died just now, right? Transporter knowledge. Alan's strength has improved a little. Became 3 sections, plus the magic of the bracelet. It can be used 5 times a day. Because a simple word from a man, a criminal gang of hundreds of people was wiped out. Alan has arrived in the desert capital of Crony. He was also warmly received by the snow waves. This is my union. All of the same race come in. This person is the price of the Snow Wave Guild. Are these 2 the distinguished guests you mentioned by the boss? Welcome. Boss has been looking forward to your visit. He sits at the entrance to Crony's every day waiting. Teacher, please take a seat. Looks like you took good care of the union members. I can't sit still. They're my family. Although no one else is needed, Enchi is behind Yusha in line behind the family after all. Neither Enchi nor Yusha are serums. Alan thought to himself, I've never talked before and I'm third. Is it also high? How should I bring up this topic next? Sure enough, it has to be that Elvin. Are you ready? Elvin skillfully took out a bunch of gifts. Shualong immediately agreed to help second answer. Did you understand what you just said? Even if it's not family, you are also Enchi, and thanks to Enchi, our family can come together. It seems that you have successfully brushed a wave of goodwill this time. The essence of the golden Mao people, the probability of causing a fatal blow after wearing it is increased by 20%. Acquiring arrogance will not eventually degenerate into sin, but to be a great wave, it seems to be really as written in instructions, something in short. Everyone actually agreed to help. It seems that the children's education career is a success. Enchi, you must be tired from traveling so far. Go rest first. How about taking you to the room desert first? It must be boring to have only sand here. Alan was a little worried about how to get back. It was too hot, and we were attacked. On our way here, we were attacked by a gang of bloodthirsty thieves. I heard that business groups often encounter these things. I don't want to meet the snow wolf anymore. I hear it. Never want to touch again. That night, he arrived somewhere. Here is the giant, the hideout of the criminal organization Bloodthirst. He started cleaning the place. This group of thieves was easily dealt with by him. I'm over there. You're the boss, right? I'm Kalman's brother, but those who are sheltered by the Supreme Baba Yaga, are you trying to make an enemy of my brother? After all, it was you who made the first move on the teacher, and I don't like being scolded. So all the blood was killed until the thieves were wiped out. As long as they're gone, you won't see them. Trouble solved. I'm the genius. Alan med on what happened early in the morning? Shualong is still talking about it. It's all done by me. Only praise me alone. The hundreds of people killed should be all night level strategies. It's a tricky task in a game. Although it is great to know the title of the Babaya family, the gentleman realized that he was arrogant enough to be the most existent. The Colosseum is the blood of the warriors drowned with the cheers of the audience. Know the places of interest in Crony. Crony is one of only 4 Baba Yaga, and he's also the longest serving fighter in this position. This competition is still won by Kalman. Kalman thinks there are still so many stupid people in the world. The artists next to him also agree. He is the Lai family of the Snow Wave Guild. They actually think just a few hundred people can beat the Babaya family. Long time no see. Lai Joshua Shah was completely wiped out by the Snow Waves. Kalman said he knew it wasn't your brother. Rumor has it that way. I only brought him with me to calm the dark world. I was looking for an excuse. It's really unexpected because through Baba a proper match between the Agas cannot be achieved. Just endure, but I still hate it. The guy who made trouble in Crony vengeance for my brother's death. It's a pretty acceptable excuse. Since you came to me, so that means you're finally ready, right? Accept it, the gift of the Seeker. The father of all men. As long as he uses it, he can gain power. Just rip his head off. Dark events that can eat Crony, even divide the kingship. Let's try it out. I'm looking forward to how long you can take it. 2 days later, under the escort and guidance of the Union, Alan sets off towards the city of Caraxia, which saves the gods. It didn't take long to arrive at the ruins. Alan told Shualong to go and be back, so he took Alan inside. You can see the light there. It seems to have come right. Showy urban Karasha frog. Someone seems to be talking. The voice of the magician can only be heard by Alan. Enter the tower. If you can hear the sound, I had to tell Alan that I might have to go up by myself. We'll be back ASP. This central tower where Alan has never been in the game at this time. Welcome. You can hear my voice show that you have the most basic qualifications. Utto is wrong. After listening to the words of the strange force, those who come here can say their real names. It seems that it does give you a chance, but there is no grid for you here, so I can't tell you anything. Strange Power Chaos also said the same. What is the so-called grid? It is the benchmark by which the world judges you. The nephew is coming soon. Go get rid of him if you succeed. You are eligible for dialogue. Finally came Gata than those guys who can only imitate magicians. Stronger person. How about just telling you something interesting? Magic. It is the law designated by the Taoist to this world. The magic sentence of this world is logical and confident. Now the sentence is followed by smooth. It makes sense to expand something built with sentences. Memorizing names is magic. This is the first time Alan has heard of it, even if you say that you don't understand. So let me make it smooth. I'll give you the right kind of magic. Little knowledge of traversers. Potions in this world generally work slowly, but the top ones will take effect immediately. Shualong, one of the 5 major sins, was betrayed by his family. Seeing my life coming to an end when Alan communicates with a mysterious person. Shuelang is wondering why N is so slow. What's wrong? At this point, someone has already stared at him. I saw a ray of light sweep across Shualong's family. Failure not so good. He recognized this person as Kalman. There is nothing work ethically and do it outside the Colosseum. What about professional ethics? Kill all the blood. That's my important brother, so it's revenge for the family or something. Kalman rushes towards the Snow Wave family again, but this time it was blocked by snow waves. Don't touch my family. Just as expected. Shualong still doesn't understand what it means. The next second, a knife went right through his body. Didn't even react. What was going on? I've said it before. Boss is easy to understand. Shuelang only reacted to the mutiny of the Lai family. Shualong cares deeply for her family at that time. The boss was always very nice to us. Boss is the best because you are family. The life of the Mao people who once lived together in the Golden Sect. It was a happy time full of nostalgia for him. After leaving the orphanage, Snow Waves are always talking madly about wanting to destroy the Black Dragon. Revenge of all this must be found. Blood relatives reunion. Find happiness. The old people of the Golden Sect are descendants of the King of Orcs. They both have a high racial affinity for each other, but every person is different. Shuelang asked in disbelief. Why, that's the end of Boring family game, stop talking nonsense and kill him now. The injured Snow Wave had to dodge their attack. Really good at avoiding mice. Kalman thought to himself, it has been strengthened several times by the abyss body. I'm sure to win this time. Shualong stabilized and prepared to block the attack when the two go all out. Raiga attacked from the side. Go well boss. Seeing that Shualong was about to be killed by this blow, he shifted to dodge the blow. Shrugged off Kalman. At the same time, let's see how long you can last. Raiga starts to fight the Snow Waves because he has complete omnipotence. Is he still not his opponent in terms of force? The injured Kalman barely got up, then he saw Alan and Alan coming out. This guy is who he just became. Enchi, I just happened to receive an order to deal with this person. Before killing, take advantage of it as a hostage. First, at this moment, the battle between Shualong and Lai Jia is about to be decided. Has the toxin finally started to take effect? The knife just now was painted with Caminasis plug. You won't be able to move for the next hour. Speaking of which, don't you still ask why? Do you think blood relatives it's really to play family games with you? Did you just gather? Of course everyone is for the essence of the golden sect Mao tribe almighty because the ownership and authority are in your hands, actually using excess power gained by luck. How hateful Shualong feels, even if everyone started out for power. Get together after all. The time we spent together has really been. Once you become family, it will be the same as before. Oops, haven't you woken up from your dream yet? Then see for yourself how much people hate you under the orders of the Lai family. A group of people from the golden sect Mao tribe stood up. Snow Wave shock. Everyone else has also defected. The essence should also be handed over to the person who matches him. Right. When he was about to tackle the Snow Wave, a weapon of magic flew by. The Lai family hasn't reacted yet. What's going on? Kalman's body has been penetrated. Evan also drew his sword. A few sword chi were used to force the Lai family's legs. He didn't even know what that thing was. Because I saw two huge eyeballs and it's hanging from that human head. Alan discovered the black smoke. Did you use the abyss body? The abyss body is something that appeared in the middle of the original. People with sufficient levels can get it after absorbing it. Divine Revolution is a setting that has been increased due to difficulty. Characters with abyss body instructions with black smoke. Not only is the description unique, and the setting is speculative. Was he betrayed by a union member? Alan will be the most advanced recovery potion sprinkled on the Snow Waves. Will be back in action soon, and that's all a traitor should have, so don't worry. However, Xuelang still had a serious expression because I saw that your union was very happy before. Xuelang also perked up after hearing this. Can block. Will the enemy wait until the magic is ready to end? The family is waiting. Alan and Shualong are responsible for blocking the others. Alan is ready to unleash magic. The remaining magic times are only one side. A blue dot of light appears around him. You seem to know some sentences. Learn to write them down. Statements can bend laws, and the article is the key to the law. You didn't just lose your great possessions, still in use. These are outrageous abbreviations. Alan used this ice magic. Several ice tips began to emerge. The forgotten true name of this magic. It's actually an ice crystallizer. Alan unleashed this magic. Countless ice thorns rose from the ground. Shualong just talked about marrying the great moon. This made Tia angry on the spot. Just now. Alan used ice crystals to dissolve countless ice. Quickly rose from the ground. Ice thorns attacked the Lai family one after another. An ice thorn sent it flying, and the magic is far from over. Alan was stunned by this scene because these ice thorns form countless ice flowers. The Lai family and his companions were pierced by ice thorns, but he wasn't fatally wounded. Everything is not needed now anyway. As long as Shualong is dead, as long as you can take away the ownership of the essence, everything can start over at the moment of crisis. Alan rushed over. Shualong saw that he was injured, but at this point, Alan also bled. Xuelang was very angry when he saw this scene. A power blow kicks to the Lai family after the battle is over. Is it really okay? Alan wasn't actually hurt. The knife gently slashed the side waist. It is indeed because of the exhaustion of magic. The magic just now was indeed very powerful, but I didn't expect the magic consumption to be so large that I suffered internal injuries. Who did the person who first attacked himself say? They seem to have a lot of opinions. What happened? When fighting an enemy who absorbs the abyss body, what do you want to become? After absorption, you can obtain the restriction of Article 3 of the Divine Revolution. When using magic to fight against gods can distort the rules of the world. Will become stronger by fighting with God. Alan is wondering if he should comfort Snow first. Don't let the evil thoughts in his heart turn into evil. Why didn't Enchi run away at that time? I also feel guilty that I caused Enchi to be injured. Didn't you say you can block the enemy? So trust Alan. In fact, it cannot be avoided due to physical reasons. Shualong asked again, why should you save your daughter who has been raising her for several years? Looking to die unconsciously. I didn't expect to be scratched by the sword, but certainly not so. I have to tell Shualong about my family. No reason needed. Family should be serum, but I still want to be family with Enchi. It's almost like having an unrecognized child. Father after a few years. Finally, Shualong is finally willing to call himself father. Is that the case? But not in this case. The golden sect Mao people are different from humans, so Enchi, let's get married. Listen to Alan and Elvin tell the truth on the spot. Why would you say that in a place like this? 5 days after marriage, Kalman's move spread all over Crony VW to despicable Baba Yaga Kalman. There was outrage. Snow Wave got enough to get the first Baba Yaga title support. He's still talking about let's get married. You can't click options like a game at first. It was comforting. Shualong wants to marry her father when she grows up. Full score for coquettish. This is the 19th time. I already consider you my family, Enchi, as long as you get married. You can become a real family. It's serious to have confidence that Enchi can be happy. Alan's happiness just sweet potatoes. And a leisurely aristocratic life is enough, so no choice. Be sure to give me an answer next time. He'll give up after a while. Snow Wave's union instead. It developed in the ideal direction. The betrayal of the Lai family let the blood relatives really feel angry, and worried happiness doesn't come when the whole family is together. The ideal family, even in the face of possible loss of life, we will still be there for each other. You have to be more careful if you want to trust each other. Build a team. The Green Lieutenants who can protect their teacher at any time become a happy family forever. Elvin said that it was confirmed by the intelligence union, except for the Riga faction, no other suspicious people. They will continue to pay attention and report later. I finally raised him. There can be no more problems. What do you have to deal with next for the back cabinet? The pavilion that Alan knew was the Divine Pavilion, but I think it's definitely not this. What else does it do? And what is smooth? There are more and more things I don't know. The man said to go to the easternmost side at the end. Is the easternmost part of Kalasha Castle a record of the past? Can actually understand unfamiliar text. People who value reputation, exploring the forgotten dead. People who have peeked into too many magical mysteries. One who is greedy and extreme, same as in the game. God is metaphorically called show. He greed at first glance refers to the 5 major sins. In addition to that, nothing that matches what Alan knows. Is psychedelia the story of the future? But for the sake of outer gods and gods, will it be written upside down? Outer gods are because of human beliefs or gods from the outside world. The gods have existed since time immemorial on the slate of the 5 sins, but wrote the 5 evils as an external trial. It's so caring. Evan talks about the news of the children. It is said that Deus defeated the first Reinhardt. His strength, even in the game, it's not the same state at all. It has grown to this point in half a year. How talented are you? Rena has become able to decide. MP of the 3 hospitals of the Rartania policy, became the power. The very promising Bin Laden has unified the 5 islands, become one piece already with the first generation of pirates like a king. The bounty is as high as million. Somali pirate evolved into One Piece. Alan has a headache just thinking about it. When Blue Moon meets regularly, Snow Wave told Yusha, I want to marry the Great Moon. The other 3 all heard the news. This is a declaration of war on the newspaper. Judea. One of the 5 sins, does it? He made men shady again. The crowd was shocked by how composed he was just recently at the regular Blue Moon meeting. Shualong proposes to marry the Great Moon. Several people who heard the news were surprised. Yusha thought, although Shualong occasionally uses exaggerated methods of expression, that Lord is a good man. It's normal that you like him. Snow Waves have been noisy. I want to get married. I am confident that I can do a good job of a few people. And I can see that he is putting up with it. Hold back, but snow waves are impossible because we are shadows. Shui Lang thinks that he can get married while being a shadow. The shadow cannot stand by that person's side. Do you understand what this means? Shualong feels the most important thing is the idea of a great moon. Do you think that person will choose you? But he and Enchi have already made an appointment to get married. Judea was shocked to hear this. Deus asked the snow waves what happened with that guy. And he sort of talked about it. Deus also remembered that 6 months ago, the majestic gesture of that lord, it's like going through hell several times. Poised, I had never discovered the power of that person before. I feel a little magic. So I doubt it. But the Lord gave me in self-doubt, brought a firm belief. He is a man worthy of respect, so make up your mind after revenge. You must become a robber, become the traitor of that one. Shualong thinks he can understand your feelings. Just like this. 2 hours later. Devos didn't expect to chat for so long, so that's it. Anyway, you must never marry that adult. One says no, the other says yes. It's been a long time. Blue Moon semi-annual meeting minutes. First, absolutely don't ask Divas about the Great Moon. Second, as long as it's about the Great Moon, Utia would say absolutely not. Show your childlike side. This is some information that I don't really want to know. The backstreets of Astria in order to defeat the rogue group Knife Party. Do you mean we join forces? We all hated that organization. Do you have a way? The speaker is the leader of the aristocratic faction Marquis of Beard Pull in Rosario of the Holy Kingdom. Use education. This is Duke Ringleber. Leader of the King's Party. Enlightenment is at the heart of religion. Holy Kingdom Rosario sent to people who suspect they are Protestants. Transnational sexuality delivered by a vengeful bishop possesses great power. If that's the case, it does take care of them. Your request is said that 2 bishops and more were needed. Of course, it's okay to pay half the bribe. The bishop has been contacted. It won't be long before it's over. Leave the rest of them. Let's raise a glass. And soon after, he was somewhere. Although there are only 8 people below Zhengzi and the Pope, every one of them is busy. This is the second time we meet. Nice to meet you, Serugius. Let's go straight to the main classroom. I want to enlighten Count Palladio. Borrow your name on the letter. This proposal should be good for you. Don't worry. We can fake intelligence that the other party is a heretic, and he does have the possibility. What do you think? By the Bishop of Tia, you mean to bury Allen? Count Faraday's enlightenment letters to write my name. Sherry, the bizarre death of the Bishop of Bianteria. How could you choose silence? Then you will take that seat. Shouldn't you say you don't know? Then you can monopolize those. Heaven is right in front of you. The next second, he was down. The whole body is under attack. You let me kill that lord. His growls of pain were muted. Even if you scream, no one will come and beg you. You might as well kill me. I've said it more than 10 times. No, and Lydia tortured him. I prayed for an assistant, but it didn't work. I can't even die. I won't kill you yet. Because something needs to be done. But if you want to harm that lord, you will be punished. Understand your sins. To forgive your sins, the Count has almost prepared. Got it. After a month after coming back from the desert in order to attend the symposium before the Academy of Magic, getting ready to go. Alan is already the leader of the Knife Party. Of course, I'm participating. Also investigate the Abyss body and nephew, but I really don't want to go. If it were normal, I would definitely think so. Do you still have that letter with you? This was sent 2 weeks ago. I felt better after reading this letter. Certificate to become the leader of the Knife Party and the legal periodic subsidies thus obtained. The amount is far beyond imagination. You will encounter all kinds of bad things at this location before arriving at the account. Why is everyone clenching their teeth? But after the money arrives, so much so that Alan figured it out in an instant. Become the leader of the Knife Party or something. With great power comes great responsibility. Although I don't know what kind of faction it is. Construction can make so much money. It just so happens that the finances of the territory are not very common, and that's a good thing. The omnipotence of modern people requires money. Healing a wounded soul be cured. This is the true magic of capitalism. House of the Marquis of Philadelphia Symposium venue. I heard that many celebrities will also come to participate. All kinds of people came to the symposium. It is said that there are mercenaries, merchants, and priests. Altai and Genonia also came here. Count. Here you are. How are you doing? Although he was in the same boat as the two shady men because of some misunderstanding, this scares Alan a bit. Go over there after you say hello, I beg you. Alan came to report a very hot piece of news. The leader of Wang's party received a letter of indoctrination taken to the holy fruit. Really? It's nice not to see him. Then a figure came to the Altai and this side of Genonia. He asked the other party what was the matter. And this guy walked up to Aaron. I lost, so please spare my life. The man bowed his head to Alan, and this shocked everybody. Genonia knew that this man was in power in politics. Noble leader Marquis Bill Bird. He actually lowered his head. Unlike the dark world politics that values justice and status, bow to someone, it's like giving up all dominance to others. Genonia thought that man was really amazing, as if this had been expected. So calm. The other side snow waves are doing their own bridal homework. A new outer god has arrived. Men also face new challenges. Just now Lord Marquis Bill Bird. Alan bowed his head. Please spare my life. Just a few days ago, he received a suspicious letter. That letter looks like it's educational. It looks really unpleasant. The magic ball sent with it store an image of about 5 seconds. He is the leader of the Wang party who conspired last time. Duke Ringelber. His screams were so terrifying. It's us. We were wrong. Duke Ringelber, who received the letter of enlightenment. You are next. He still doesn't understand why the Duke does that. We just want a bribe. Received an indoctrination letter. It's like being thrown into hell in politics. As long as it's not related to the righteous, there is no irrefutable situation at all. But Duke Ringelber, who had no contact with the Protestants, but fell into a disadvantage. It must be Count Faraday. How could he be more connected than us? And here's the thing. The next person to be tortured will be your turn. Marquis Beard knelt down on the spot. I want to live the rest of my life in peace. I could retire from politics. So don't be too didactic. Alan didn't understand why he was telling himself this. Did these guys do something else? The three major antagonists of Asteria were revealed. Pie appearance. The two thought they were worthy of the count. Think Altai and Genonia are for convenience. Only then did Faraday be elected as the acting leader. The doubt disappeared completely. The Great Tang Conference begins on the third day. Alan for the Magic Society start moving east. I heard that Bill Bird also received a letter of indoctrination. Daosheng is over finally. It was taken away. Alan asked if the count had not sent him away. But how did I become civilized? Didn't you say before that I would consider it carefully? Seems to have said that, but does it look like this? Just trying to get out of that situation. Polytechnic City of Raltania. Endless Adventure City. There are 5 major unions at his top. Did one person really get rid of one? 000. All said the union chiefs are all superhuman. Don't get too excited. This is definitely not going to happen with this commission. This person is the head of the 5 major trade unions. A trick. It's about catching a 20-story monster alive, right? Came down for a huge deposit, although multiple floors of 5 are safe floors, but it was strange. Even if there are traps, it is very important to explore on the 50th floor. It's also easy for home. It doesn't matter even if it fails. There is no need to return the deposit. They arrived at the 20th floor of the labyrinth. There really seems to be something in front of the boss. Isn't this the goblin? Even the weakest kind of monster. Just get this guy, get paid more. It's a golden goblin. What are you wearing? Is it Eastern clothes? A bunch of ants is noisy. One finger makes a slash. Several people were beheaded. Everyone hasn't responded yet. What's going on? Someone attacked the enemy with an axe. Another spell shot out and killed the man Ghost King, and with hubris and aggression, they began to walk towards the surface. Alan and Alan have come to a certain place. The central tower seems to be exceptionally tall. You can actually see the scene in the game with your own eyes. Hello, Count. Long time no see. I'll take you in. The Academy's schedule starts tomorrow. You can browse at will today. Thank you. And may I ask where the library is? I am looking for a book. I'll take you there right away. No access to Evan of the Academy of Architecture. Only go to the lounge the first day of the learning schedule. A new theory is expected to be published by the Green Magic Tower, and there are post stations if you can't even understand this. Aren't you a fool? It seems that there is another conflict with the Blue Deputy Tower Owner Vice Tower Master Blue. After all, he was a very loose cannon. I said don't say it again. Even if there are 28 fifth order brain like yours is not enough. Pena's words and actions once again caused public outrage. Who is that? It's not like I didn't even make it last year. A half-assed magician who was eliminated? Did you bring a friend with you this time? And he recognized the guy next to him. Hello, Vice Tower Master. It's been half a year. How are you? You don't have to be so restrained. Feel free to thank you for your understanding. The crowd was shocked. Is this a hallucination? Arrogant Pena is so docile, but why are you still like this? Although a bit nosy, but there is still harmony between magicians. Get along better. Pena rushed up to apologize. Sorry, let's live in harmony in the future. See you later. Then he quickly disappeared. It gets worse with each meeting. Alan wondered what he had misunderstood. Seeing the few people next to him, he wondered what was going on. Did you do something wrong? Ian didn't even expect that bastard to be there. Jew actually looked like that in front of him. Is Pena's nickname a jerk? Although I know he is an arrogant genius. How exaggerated. And I met someone. Lovely. Ian, did you come to see me? Who is this next to you? He's a fresh face. This is Count Faraday. Don't be unreasonable. Go away. It was the legendary one. It was also the first time Alan had met this person. He is the wizard of the Purple Tower. He is also the son of the Tower Master named Baruch. And tell Ian that you're about to fall in love with me. Ian doesn't want to talk to him at all because he's a fourth order. People who are still robbing other people's research results, always arrange for others to make a fool of themselves on purpose, can reach fourth grade at this age. That's totally genius. Alan is a little envious because there is a huge difference between each level and the gap is only going to get bigger. Just like the difference in combat power between the 7th and 8th step, it is unimaginable. Thinking about this will only hurt yourself. Still, don't say the library you are looking for is on the 38th floor. See you when you learn to publish. Alan came to the 38th floor. The feeling of seeing it with my own eyes is really different. There are two things to do here. One, like this, come back tomorrow when the stars and moon rise. That's it. And set all the broken hands to 12 o'clock. The second is this: found a book without a title and the author's black books. Soon found the armor cover. Find the armor cover from the secret space in the book. The next day, after the publication of the Green Magic Tower Friendly Arena, Lord Baruch, Count of Faraday, has identified you. Do you agree to practice? Alan doesn't understand what's going on. This man just showed off his magic. Shocked everyone, even the witch who has killed countless people. When you see a man, you will tremble. Just now someone appointed Alan to propose a duel. What's going on here? Is it because of Ian? Sorry. Because he's always pestering the topic of marriage. Very uncomfortable. Earl of Faraday, I wanted the great magician who helped defeat the outer gods seek some valuable advice. They need to expand their influence to not just the son of the Buddha, and here comes a big fish. The current count contributed to the gods and the surprise attack on Baba Yaga, and there are strange rumors that Pena was afraid his strength received high praise among magicians. It must be a group of companies' opponent's strength. The unbreakable guy is promoting him, a mere third-order magician, the magician who lies for pride, just right for a stepping stone. Are you afraid? It's just a friendly match after all. If someone gives you candy for no reason, then create a reason for him. Alan accepted the cue. It's exactly the same as the old saying, I really eat my upbringing as a meal. The referee announced the use of life-threatening magic is absolutely prohibited, so get ready. Start now before the Count's false power is seen through. End the battle so that you can step on his rumors and win. This is Baruch. A cold air came under my feet. Why are the footsteps so heavy? Because the surroundings are already frozen. It was Alan who used his magic just before the intentional arena not long ago. You said Pernia, apologized Husha. Have you finally learned the style of study? It's the truth. He started doing that as soon as he saw Count Faraday. The Count already had many powerful rumors. It was real. I don't know who it is. That's what it says. Let's wait and see. From the sensory aura, the ending should not be high. I'm afraid the magic and innate are relatively small. The use of life-threatening magic is absolutely prohibited. The most important thing about magic is knowledge, but if you are born with magic, there is very little. Yeah, that's hard. You can tell at a glance the fake news he spread himself. It seems that today is going to be completely exposed, but all the doubts and prejudices are invisible, and this is what happened. That is to combine more than 3 kinds of compound magic, almost perfect operation. Even a 5th grade magician can't do it. How is this limitation rate achieved? Alan used crystals with an autobiography that Baruch couldn't resist thinking about. What has to be done? Someone recognized it. That's the killing magic of the Purple Tower. Even so, it can't resist the ice. It didn't take long for him to be frozen. The correct one is Count Faraday. The crowd was shocked. How are these arranged? It would be disrespectful if it was exclusive magic. Before, I've only seen people make beautiful scenery with their hands in ancient books, although we know that the English sentence is an ancient product and they had no idea. As if it had never existed in the world, Alan told the crowd, I am only a mere 3rd rank. You said you were only 3rd grade. Don't be humble. How is it possible that there are only 3 realms? I had something to do, so I left alone when it's finally quiet. It's really useful. The memory of the black eye pupil is used as an enhanced equipment, can store a user's magic and reinforced upon release. If you are using magic in extremely cold land, constrained extreme cold will determine the number of spells that can be used per day, reduced from 5 to 3. If you use an armor cover to release extreme cold, can get a huge increase, and you can freely use the magic 5 times the number of times. Is now finally some understanding of the migration of snow-capped mountains. After the magic of the line is completed, the effect of freezing the surrounding air articles are the key to getting closer to the law. If you can use it after fully understanding the article, it's not just a change in form, it can shake the law itself. Originally, it was just like understanding the sentence. Thought he was just using it to enhance magical abilities. It turns out that the deeper you look at it, the more you can develop. Let Alan gradually develop the heart of exploration now. Just rest until night. Then go get what is ready. Has reached the 38th floor just in time. I see you have solved the riddle. I still want to guess more mysteries. Didn't panic after hearing my voice. That is astonishing. Represents the fear and praise of a chaotic world, the Slayer's eternal fear. Also in the legend of the magician, the existence known as the original exhibition after the forgotten deity among humans, the first great magician to reach the 8 rings. If Haink is not careful, something big can happen. In fact, players will put Ha Ing Ku became the Witch of Little to obtain equipment. You must select an option. If you choose the wrong one, you will die on the spot. Although from the 3rd meeting it will be cleaner, because even if you choose the wrong one, you will only be scolded. Will directly solve a puzzle. If you hold a specific item, he will immediately kill the player, so it is also known as the quirky milk, which I don't know why. I can feel a kind of essential way. Anyway, be prepared. It cannot be killed immediately, so Alan secretly prepared magic in the back. So let's guess the first question. Because Alan used magic, the big eyes behind him also appeared. It's because I've only seen him in the game. The appearance of the author, the witch with 2 eyes, trembled all over. Alan doesn't understand what's going on. He's so short. It seems that a lot is made up for with the hat. Here it is. Okay, I'll go first. After saying that, he disappeared. Here Alan didn't expect this to happen either, just in case. I specially prepared magic. Did he look back? But there's nothing behind it. Anyway, It's a good thing to get it easily. The deterrence of 2 eyes, it has hurt him deeply, one of the 5 great sins. Lenai is here. As long as the Godfather is not pleasant to the eye, he must be eradicated. Alan started on the 2nd day of the friendly match publication of the Listening Society magical discussions. From time to time, it's actually more helpful than self-study. For him who is good at magic control, he's good at permutation and construction. But are you really tier 3? You've asked 15 times. Let's just say so. Do you want to try to challenge the 4th order magic? Although the magic power is not enough, and so it was on day 4. Alan learned from the Intelligence Guild, appeared in the Labyrinth of Lartanya. The Outer God Labyrinth has mutated. The Intelligence Association speculates it appeared about a week ago. After Alan delivered this, let's go now. Pana sees Count. Are you leaving so soon? I know, Count, that you are a 3rd order. Absolutely right. Alan thought to himself, it's a shame that he even came out to send himself, but there was no expression of regret on his face. I don't know what Pana is up to. I don't know why it has come alive after Pana separated. After a few days arrived in the labyrinth city of Raltania. This is Melder. Right. Although I know that Lena is in the limelight now, but I didn't expect it to be this extent. The universal truth is that money is omnipotent, to be honest. I really can't imagine Magic Island appraisal can hold such great power, although I came to ask him for help because of this, but seeing it with my own eyes is really exaggerated. The staff next to him asked the guest if you have a reservation. Elvin doubts that you have to make an appointment in advance to come here. I'm really in a hurry. You can help pass it on. Is Count Faraday here? This is the 325th time this weird conventional metering. Don't you know me? I have a good relationship with your president. There are too many excuses. 3,000 gold coins if there is no reservation. Alan didn't expect the fee to be so high. By the next house, if you make an appointment now, when can we meet? From now on it will take about 10 months. And someone threw out a generation of coins. What are you arguing about here without money? This is Rabid Greston, son of the Lord of Raltania, and they thought, here we go again. Let the stubbornness of the backstage fly. Domineering. Don't forget to curse when you leave. This made the two of them very angry. Then a voice came out. You don't have to come in. It was Rena who came here. He punched Labrador Greston on the son of the Lord of Raltania. Go away. I've been waiting for you to call for help. The staff thought no matter whether it is a prince of another country or trash president, usually act very solemn and fair. How dare you speak ill of such a noble? Noble should know our family. It has a deep relationship with the 3 councils. You will regret your actions today. Rena didn't even pay attention to him. Godfather, please come in, and uncle. Please too. Is this really okay? Alan thought. I heard that the Lord is very precious to his son. Don't worry, he probably won't appear in front of you. Alan somehow thinks he's reliable, although there have been some twists and turns, but immediately in a pleasant atmosphere and Lena chat. But it's Alan again at the top. But why the Godfather? The other kids called me a benefactor or a teacher. So a little curious. Godfather reminds Alan of a very famous movie. Of course the word Godfather suits you best. Lena is like a peace of mind. Be honest, a daughter who has grown up seriously is just as proud, although I have been told in a letter. But I have to ask you one thing because of the place I want to go. It needs some influence. Can you help me join the provincial crusade? Really organizing a crusade recently, but that one thing that just happened, it's hard to do. Godfather, do you care much about the Lord's son? It's not just that I'm afraid of causing you trouble. You really don't have to worry. What you asked can be completely solved. Lu Ning should be tired after playing so far. Please go to rest first. Evan thinks the adults of the truth, although still as cold as before. It's like growing up with a textbook, right? That night. It's a bit reassuring that Rena said she could help even without the Lord's son, but the real problem lies with the Crusaders. That's all brute force, the tyrannical rule that decides everything, but this time is different from when it was in the north. Don't worry. You can plan while resting the next day. Alan doesn't even know when he fell asleep, tired no matter how long you sleep. Godfather, what you ordered yesterday has been resolved. There will be a crusade meeting later. Hope you will participate so soon. So you don't have to worry about Rabid Grayston. I already killed him. I see has killed the Lord's son. Alan was stunned when he heard the nonsense. What did he just say? Raltania has no more scourge like Rabid. Raltania appears in a good game. The reason for the side plot: 30 people, mercenary massacre monster. There are also abyssal body absorption events. Zimera in vivo experiment. It's all caused by this guy. But he is the son of the Lord, just like a prince in the city of King's Landing. Isn't this equivalent to killing the royal family? Kill Rabid. Then why? Because Godfather, you said you felt uncomfortable. Keep him alive, and you will always be uncomfortable. 3. You don't have to worry about the parliament after all. Lenai is also one of the seeds of the 5 great sins, but even if you think of yourself as the Godfather, it's too much. And aren't you an appraiser now? How do you deal with mercenaries? What's the problem? Is it not good enough? He's a little glum. I'm worried that the things around you have been completely resolved. It doesn't matter. Is this a different way of thinking? Thanks anyway. Stop moping. Is this because you are shy? Things that involve life danger, you should respect yourself. This may cause you hardship. The business life is ruined. Lena expressed that he understood his duty. Godfather, since you are here, I want to show you the eye of the tracker. This is the eye of the tracker. Customer printing is being collected smoothly. Black that can engrave the ability value of the relic. The guest print is the eye of the tracker. Alan learned from his knowledge of past life games. He's just a very ordinary auxiliary equipment. It's not that special. Set the trackers. I can quickly identify items below a certain amount of magic power. It can assist in identification. What makes him so famous in Melder? All because of this. That's why you're so good to yourself anyway. Let's fool around. Are you using it well? Although the collection speed decreases after 400, but it should be able to gather in a few years. Alan couldn't understand what he was collecting. The interim report has been completed for you. I'll take you to the conference room. It didn't take long to see the provincial crusade team. You're not going to bring such a sick child with you, are you? At first glance, He is a guy with no appearance, the fourth ancient tracker of the 5 major unions, President Mayberry. There are also 5 major unions, and third place is Trano. Let's just refuse this is Seaman. The second largest labor union in Arcadia Argonia, first place in the 5 major unions, Kelly Madeira Union President. I advise you not to interfere, better to go back obediently after all. They are mercenaries who put strength first. Alan had expected it. Isn't their hostility too blatant? Alan is also ready to unleash magic. It seems that it still needs to be recognized by strength. The man is just showing his strength. Let this Catwoman throw herself into the arms. See this scene. Renai of the 5 sins is going to kill him. Just now Alan met and used weapon magic directly. He wanted to join the crusade for 2 reasons. The first is that ordinary force cannot crush the provinces. The second is that the plan requires powerful mercenaries, so I tried my best to squeeze in powerful magic. Covers the entire room. Noble lord. Do you want to have 2 tricks with us? Didn't you want to do it first? Alan didn't expect either. The room literally turned into an ice field. It seems like the wrong magic. It's not good for the heart. The situation was tense. Alan sat down in the chair. Now I'm qualified to chat with you. It's hard to believe. But now this situation, it's similar to some specific tasks. It's the same every time. That is to say, as long as you get the approval of Argonia, no need to fight. I hope it can be solved to this extent. When the person next to him was about to make a move on Alan, Argonia orders his assistant. He doesn't understand why the assistant. After all, we ignored him first. That's exactly what Alan predicted. When are you going to enter the labyrinth? In 2 days. Because of the confusion, so we will continue the meeting tomorrow. This is a good choice. See you tomorrow then. After leaving the room, Alan thought to himself, never do this again. The heart can't take it in the room. Shortly thereafter, men don't understand. Why did you just let this arrogant nobleman go? Shut up if you don't know anything. Argonia just saved your life. He still doesn't understand what it means to save a life, although I can't be sure, but the moment his attack hits you, Mayberry, you will die. Argonia remembered old memories. Daughter. If one day a black eye appeared in the night sky, never get to know him if it's okay. Forget him. Remember, my sweet child, never look directly at someone who is qualified. That was the only warning my mother left hundreds of years ago. Who is that person? The next day. Alan was worried. I don't know how far I will compromise. The meeting will follow the Count's plan. Everyone is there. No opinion. And so the meeting began. The meeting ended safely. I didn't expect the meeting to end so quickly. It's amazing. Rena doesn't seem to have done anything. Write down the game knowledge and implement it. The plan is really good. Alan put the information of the outer gods all handed over to them, pretending to be the content of ancient books. That's it. After finishing the preparation, we started hunting monsters. A group of people entered the maze with my own eyes. I really can't come in alone. There are magician's equipment around the 40th floor, by the way. Does the Count hate orcs? He is 4th in the top 5 unions, president of the Ancient Trackers Union. Mioan really was frozen yesterday. Are you dissatisfied? It wasn't any different the last time. Wonderful text. Ask Alan if he wants to make a kitten with Meow. Don't you think it would be cute? He said something very powerful without paying attention. Alan's knowledge of Mioan, only he is in the low-level period. Just a good teammate. I know you are strong. Alan remembered that the cat family has a wooden strong setting. Rejected his question without thinking. Right. Originally, he was a little moved because of being defeated. If you change your mind, remember to tell Meow. Meow is very attractive. That guy said something so weird to the Godfather. Do you want to dispose of it secretly? Forget it. That's not necessary. The way people think is indeed different from ordinary people. The second day of the maze is another deception. I get irritated at the thought of going through this place. It's still on the 4th floor. To find the next floor, it takes half a day to enter. So true. I want to know this empty space. What kind of structure is it? Argonia asked everyone to come this way. This is the entrance to the 5th floor. Everyone go in multiples of 5 are secure floors because this is the save point in the game. After all staff are rectified, start preparing the plan. It was still on the 12th floor in other provinces a few days ago. Plenty of time. Alan is resting. The guy who started panting after leaving for a while. I really don't know what's so great. Then a figure approached the person in just one blow. Several people were beheaded. They didn't even notice. That seems to be a problem. Who allowed you to look into nothing? A powerful weapon magic rushed towards the outer gods. Cheer up. People over there. The outer gods shattered Alan's ice. You did something very interesting. Alan the ant calls out the name of the outer god Kellers. He explores knowledge because he is an ant. Finally realized the method became the unique king of evil among the gods. Do you even know Wu's name? It's a strange ant. According to reports, no matter how fast the other party is, it will take 3 days to arrive. Why did I become like this? While Wu is in a good mood, just have mercy. Once leave those around you behind. Taking the initiative can also spare your life. Alan reminds everyone to get ready. Argonia commands everyone to prepare for battle. It's not the same as Oedipus. The mercenaries also made some preparations. The current state of man and God is not good either. Since you insist on my punishment, then let you feel it. The provincial crusade has begun.